Hey fam, welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing? It's been ages. Goodness. Welcome back, fam. Um, how is everybody doing? So good to be back with you guys doing this live stream this evening. How is everybody doing? Very important conversation I want to have this night with all of you. I'm so sorry that I had to postpone the stream as earlier scheduled. I wanted to come live at 7 p.m. But somehow I was still stuck somewhere. I couldn't come up at that time. So I literally just got home a while ago and then quickly had to come up. So my apologies for that, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm so excited to be with you. I can see some people coming in already. As you come, give this stream a thumb up. Let's get the conversation going. Drop a hi in the chat room. Let me see. Yes, I can see. Peace, family. Peace to you. The home girl healer. Gladys in Jerry says hello. Hi, Gladys. Ralph Ingram says hello, African Queen. Hi, Ralph. Good to be back with all of you. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm so excited to be here. You can see there are more people in the chat room, more people joining the stream rather. So as you join, just drop a comment. Let me see you. I'd like to say hi to you. Simfu Devi. Hi, I can see the emojis you've dropped. Thank you so much. So yeah, I can see more people coming. Emerald Gold, I'm coming to say hi, Grace. Hi, Emerald. Thank you so much for coming. Liso says hello. Hi. So as you come in, just drop a hi. I want to say hi to you. Drop a hi as you come in. I want to say hi to all of you as you come in. Drop a hi. I want to say hi to every one of you coming. To give you some shout outs. Yes, Emerald says hello, Grace. Hi, Emerald. Good to have you join the stream. Thank you all so much. Beacon of Light are the daring Beacon of Light. Welcome. Thank you for coming, Beacon of Light. Zed, I can see Zed. Anthony Richardson. Hi, beautiful lady. Hi, Anthony. Anointed prayers. I do hope that the SARS group has been dissolved and disbanded permanently. I do hope so, just like every other Nigerian. I can see more people. Ernestina Ricana, hi. Welcome. Willie Nash, hi. Yes, so I want to have this conversation. Some of you must have seen the post I made on my community tab a few days back. That was around 1 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep, literally. I kept tossing and turning on the bed. I couldn't sleep, just struggling with my thoughts, reflecting over the whole SARS situation that was going on in the country. I couldn't sleep. I made that post because I wanted to come up to chat with you guys, but I figured a lot of people were not online, so I didn't do the stream. The following day, things continued, protest and all. So just a backstory, a lot of people were asking on that post, what is SARS? What is SARS? So SARS means Special Anti-Robbery Squad. That's a Nigerian police unit that was set up by the federal government to tackle the issues of armed robbery, kidnapping, all of those social vices, violent social vices that were prevalent in the country as at then. That was about 4 years ago. And since then, the SARS has been on, they've been deployed to the 36 states of Nigeria. Nigeria has 36 states. So the SARS was deployed to those states to tackle the issues. But since then, a lot of things have changed and things have improved. But, these people have still been on these security personnel. They've still been operating, albeit in, very, very unprofessional manner. They've been accused of a lot of human rights violations, brutalities, and all of those things. Just give me a second. So it was really so much. Nigerians had enough of it because a lot of things were happening. They were killing innocent Nigerians. It got so bad that just seeing you dress a certain way that suggested you were, well off, you had some money and all, predisposed you to being profiling as a criminal, and all of those things. Excuse me. Driving a good car made you an automatic suspect. Owning an iPhone made you a suspect. Having dreadlocks made you a suspect, and also it was becoming really too much for Nigerians. Just very, very um, disrespectful, unprofessional manner that SARS was operating in the country. So people had enough. We had enough of their excesses. And on 4 days after the Independence Day commemoration that Nigeria had, we took to the streets and decided to demand that SARS be ended. But just so you know, this is not the first time that Nigerians have called for SARS to be ended. 4 times now, the government will tell us, well, we've ended SARS, but then that would just be lip service. At the end of the day, you still find that SARS operatives are all over the country and stuff. So this time around, it got really bad. I mean, I've lost count of how many people SARS has, cut their lives short for no reason. Unarmed citizens just going about their normal businesses. You just get stopped by these security officers. They demand money from you for no reason. They collect your phone and decide to search your phone for no reason. Like, it was so bad. As bad as they see you carrying a laptop on you, made you a suspect already. And some of us go to work. Like me, sometimes I come home with my official laptop. Sometimes I, because I need to do some work at home and all. So just carrying a laptop on you made you a suspect and all. So it was really too much. A lot of human rights violations. Sometimes one of the most recent video I saw that really got me mad was some ladies in their house, SARS officials came into their house. These ladies were literally shouting and recording the whole incident. SARS officers entered their houses and were ransacking their houses for no reason. This was on a Saturday morning. They were in their houses very early in the morning. They had not even gone out. These people just broke into their house and were ransacking everywhere, bringing things out of their wardrobe, calling them criminals. And I'm like, this is the height of it. Why would we be treated in our country like this? I could just imagine myself sleeping in my house and I live alone. It has some SARS officials who just break into my house and start searching everywhere. Like, I'm a content creator. Yes, I have computer, I have a phone, I have a camera, and all of those things in my house. So automatically they're going to profile me as a criminal or what? It was really disturbing, like really disturbing. And that's not to even mention all of the people, the innocent people that these SARS operatives have killed. Let's get this right, fam. Like I said, this unit of police was set up to tackle armed robbery, kidnapping, and all of those violent social vices in the country. But since then, these people have gone off their job description, harassing innocent Nigerians, and to make it's not just Nigerians. Sometimes it could be a foreigner just coming to the country. Maybe you want to go about your business, you're visiting or something. You could be a target. They could just stop you, So it really got that bad that we needed to do something. First of all, our celebrities really did the mobilization, and that's what the whole, that's what really galvanized the whole attention and the, mobilized youth in the country. First of all, Naira Marley made a tweet. For those of you who do not know, Naira Marley is a Nigerian singer, very big, he's popular as well. He made a tweet that he was going to lead, excuse me, a protest. The following day, while we're gearing up for the protest, he announced that he was going to have a live stream with the Inspector General of Police. So the Inspector General of Police in Nigeria is the is the highest officer, that is the highest authority before the president, because the president is the grand commander of the armed forces of the Federal Republic. After him is the Inspector General of Police. So he had a live session with the first PRO, rather not the Inspector General, the first PRO, the Nigerian Police first PRO. Naira had a live session with him on Instagram where he encouraged and pleaded with us not to do any protest. That is a first PRO, that the Inspector General has already been briefed. The government is going to look into the issues, to address the concerns of Nigerians and make sure that the issue is addressed permanently. But nothing really was done. So Runtown is another Nigerian celebrity. He's a singer as well. He's also big. Him and Faz the bad guy. Those are our singers, Nigerian singers, big celebrities. They mobilized. Runtown sent out a tweet that he was going to lead a protest on Thursday. So people who are interested to come out should come out. So Faz the bad guy joined in the tweet, and the following day, which was Thursday, the whole of Lagos was out on the street. Especially people who do not go to work were out on the street protesting against police brutality, calling for the federal government to end SARS. And that didn't stop. It went on Thursday, it continued on Friday, on Saturday it continued. Today is Sunday. The protests were still on. So all this while, since on Thursday, the protests have been ongoing in the country, and people joined in other parts of the country. People also joined, like people in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, also joined. People in Ogun State joined. People in Oyo State joined. People in Edo State, which is Benin, they also joined. So it began to get attention, and the international community, Nigerians in diaspora also joined in the protest. Like today, Nigerians living in London had their own protest to the Nigerian High Commission. Nigerians living in Canada also joined in the protest, just calling on the federal government to end SARS. We're able to get the international attention. A lot of international politicians are also calling on President Buhari to do something, because the international community is watching. We're all tweeting. For me, I couldn't go out to protest on the street because I work. So during Thursday, Friday, I was at work. On Saturday, I wasn't in Lagos. I was on my way to Ibadan when I learned that there was a protest that was organized going on that yesterday, which was Saturday, so I couldn't join. But I was doing my own tweeting. Excuse me, guys. Please let me drink water. But I was also tweeting and tagging all the people I knew I could tag. Like I was mentioning President Buhari, all of that. So yes.
How are you?
Hi, man alive. I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Okay.
I can see African Tigress is in the house. Hi, sis, welcome. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm so glad that you all are here. This is a very important conversation that we need to have. And I know that we can borrow a leaf from what is happening in Nigeria and see how we can replicate it. I know protests have been going on in other parts of Africa, but this is just, sending some signals to us as African youth that we are powerful. So we'll continue with the conversation. Welcome, man alive. Thank you so much for tuning in.
How are you doing, Virtue?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. I want to use this opportunity to thank the Nigerian youth, because I think for once we have used our power. We have used the power of coming together. I've never, in my entire life, I've never seen our people come together like this. I mean, can you imagine celebrities, ordinary Nigerians? It's not like the one they did years back in Ojota. This one is like Lagos, Abuja, almost all the states, and
Yes.
Then you have some people from the government, the daughter of the vice president
Yes.
came up against it. So many people,
Yes.
So I want to thank
Buhari's daughter
Nigerians
also
for once.
tweeted against it.
Yes. So I want to thank Nigerians for, for realizing that we don't need these things anymore. Every Nigerian, at some point, your life has been affected by these police officers.
Yes.
Let me tell
Yes.
you this virtue. In some other parts of the world, a police officer, you have to have a license. Like every year, before you have to renew that license. You have to pass a psychological test. You have to pass exams. If you don't pass, they are denied promotion or they demote you. We don't have that in Nigeria. So everybody that comes up and another thing is that sometimes we blame the police officers, but a guy that is earning about 25 or 35,000 a month, you give him a gun, what do you think is going to happen? They are going to collect bribe. They are going to do all these other things to destroy, and then at some point they become so powerful because they are not being held accountable. The government is not holding them accountable. Other Nigerians are not holding them accountable. But once again, I thank Nigerians for coming together to fight this one. So my
Yes.
question is now, what is the way forward now that we have this up? Because we have other problems in Nigeria, Virtue. We have
Yes,
so many other
exactly.
problems that are affecting us. What do we do now? Now that we have succeeded we see
Yes. So
that
you
it
see,
works.
yes.
Go ahead.
The thing is, the Inspector General of Police made the announcement today that SARS has been dissolved, and I'm just going to read some of the things that the inspector. I'm reading from the police statement. This is from the Nigerian Police Force. So he says the Inspector General of Police has dissolved the SARS across all the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory with immediate effect. All officers and men serving in the unit will be redeployed to other police commands and formations and units. For me, that was one of the issues that, first of all, made me cringe. Like, for me, it's a no-no, because it's if you are taking these SARS officers, you are dissolving SARS. You are now going to redeploy them to other police units and formation. It's continuation of terror. That does not, it hasn't ended. You have only cancelled the name, but these same human beings, these same officers that are perpetrating these human rights violations, these police brutalities, they are going to continue in other police units and formations. So for us, the next step now, the first step we've achieved, SARS has been dissolved. The next step for us now is reform the Nigerian police force. That is what we are asking for. Reform it. Reform the Nigerian police force. If it means sending officers on trainings for however long, every year the federal government budgets huge amounts of money for the Nigerian police force, for security. So where is the money going to? All these big officers, the ogas who sit at the top there, what do they do with this money? Why are the police officers not sent on trainings regularly? Why are they not given proper remunerations to motivate them to do their jobs properly? So those are the questions we are asking now, and those are the actions we are demanding for the government to take. We have achieved the first step. SARS has been dissolved. Next step now is for the police force to be reformed. So we are not backing down. And most importantly, what we need the president to do for us right now as we speak is for him to issue an executive order. We want the legislative arm of government to come up with legislation that legally dissolves SARS. We want the executive, yes, the executive order from the president, and then we want the
Yes.
judiciary to charge all of the officers who have been accused of human rights violations and brutalities against citizens to be charged, to be tried and charged appropriately. Those are the actions we are demanding of the three arms of government. So it hasn't ended. This is just one step, and we have more actions, more steps to take. Another thing that the Inspector General of Police said in this statement today is a new policing arrangement for tackling the offenses of armed robbery and other violent crimes will be unveiled to the public soon. So this is a follow-up to the second point that is contained in this statement. For us, it's a known, because if you are going to redeploy them to other units and then you're saying you are going to come up with a new arrangement for tackling armed robbery and violent crimes, it that it then means, or it then suggests that these officers are probably going to be redeployed into another formation, given another name, and armed to come back on the streets. And that will be the continuation of the reign of terror. So we are not having it as citizens. We are not having it. If you go on Twitter, we've been tweeting and we've been on the president. Issue an executive order, reform the police. It's not for you to, set up another formation or another unit that will terrorize us again. We want to be free in our country. We want to feel safe and protected. We want to be able to go out and come back knowing that the police are protecting us, not killing us. That's not what we want.
I
Another thing
understand.
he said here,
Go ahead.
yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, another thing that is contained in this statement is a citizens and strategic stakeholders forum will be launched to provide an avenue for citizens to regularly interface and advise the police authority on issues touching on the general public. For this, I think it's a welcome and innovative idea. The fact that they want to have these citizens and strategic stakeholder forum where, we as citizens can contribute to the policing of our own country by making suggestions to them on how actions that they can take. We should be involved, not necessarily bearing arms, but our opinions should be sought in policing us.
Yeah.
I saw a
Yes.
documentary from Australia. Yeah, Australia, when this whole police brutality in America and all was going on. This particular woman that was the center of the documentary said there was a lot of crime going on in that community, but when she was deployed to that place, she took it upon herself to involve the community, to make it a community effort. Sometimes people commit crimes not because they want to, but there are underlying issues that have lingered for ages, for years, unaddressed, that lead people to commit certain crimes. So those issues need
Yes.
to be tackled, and those are the things we want to see addressed in this country. All the underlying issues of mass youth unemployment could dispose people, frustrate people and lead them to go into committing crimes and all of that. So let's
That's
start
true.
from the basics. Like, for me, I'm so excited that this is happening now, because this is an awakening sweeping across the country. Just this sense of victory
That's
that we feel as youth, as citizens, is empowering. This makes us feel confident that our voices are heard, and we have the power to take to demand better from our government. So trust me, Nigerian youth are, we are not backing down. If you go on Twitter, you see a lot of the tweets that are going on, the conversations that are being had on Twitter. You know that it's not business as usual anymore. And
yeah.
President Buhari also understands this. That's why he has probably instructed the Inspector General of Police to issue this statement and dissolve Sars and all. But we want him to issue an executive order. And most importantly, President Buhari is supposed to address us. We elected him to serve us. He appointed the Inspector General of Police to assist him with the job. So it shows, a high level of nonchalance from President Buhari that he has not addressed us up until this moment. Since on Thursday, he hasn't said anything, just sending out
Yeah,
some
but
tweets on Twitter.
you need to understand that is Buhari's nature. Right from before, when he was a military president, Buhari doesn't come up when the climate is hot. Buhari doesn't say anything. When was the last time you heard Buhari come up and address Boko Haram? He has not come up publicly to address it. So all these things my main issue is that this is not the first time that we have gotten to a state where Nigerian government promise you this, they'll promise you this, promise you that. Because now they have promised they're going to reform, they are promised to end SARS, they are promised to do this, promised to do that. Now, do we have laws? Are they going to put these things into law? Like, all these proposals, is it going to be backed by the law? Have we even heard from the Attorney General of Nigeria? We have not heard from him, So I wish our people, those who are in charge of these protests, those who I know there are people in the forefront, if they can table this in, because you have to put this into law. The Nigerian government does not listen to anybody. They don't care about most people most of the time. You have to force them to, in order for them to take action. So if there's a way they can force them to put all these promises into law, so that if they fail, you now can now go back, go to the law and take them to court or whatever. But I will want the Attorney General to come up and say something. Not just the president now, because I'm not even expecting president to address the issue. He is not going to do it. Another thing I want to say, Virtue, have you seen police barracks there in Lagos? Police barracks, look, I cannot even go there to do anything. This is where human beings live, If the Nigerian government cannot take care of the ordinary police officer, look at their uniform, look at where they go to, If the Nigerian government cannot take care of that, how are they now going to come and take care of you in the streets? So a lot has to change.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Those are the reforms that we are calling for now. We acknowledge that the Nigerian police needs to undergo serious reforms, like we are talking about the issues of the welfare of the officers, their remunerations, and all of those things, trainings and retrainings. Those are the things that we want to see contained in the reform that the government is going to carry out in the Nigerian police force. We need all of those things addressed, because the effects, the negative effects of the government not addressing these issues or not reforming the force, are rubbing off on all citizens. You know what? There are certain things I don't want to talk about, here and all.
Understand. Yeah.
Yes. So we need a lot of reform, like totally, for the president, the government to reform the Nigerian police force. For me, I'm so glad that we are all now aware of the power we hold as citizens. People are beginning to have conversations about the next elections, which is 2023, that we are youth, we have the power. So let's start mobilizing now towards the 2023 general elections. If it means coming together to have a youth party, we'll have our own youth party in the country. We are going to mobilize resources. I mean, we young people, when you look at the Big Brother Nigeria that just ended a few weeks ago,
more people voted for Big Brother that voted for Nigerian election.
Do you know why? Do you know why people were voting? Do you know why people were voting?
Yes, go ahead.
Because youth believed in the system, in the voting system. People believed that their votes were counting. Each week that there were evictions, people saw that their votes counted. So they had trust in the whole, Big Brother brand and all of that. So they kept voting and voting. That's all Nigerian youth need. That's all we need to be sure that our votes are going to count. If you ask a lot of people in the country, they'll tell you, I don't bother to vote. I was somewhere today, like I say, we were talking, and a young woman said, in my life, I'm never going to wake up and go out and say I'm going to vote for anybody. For what? Because people believe that their votes are not going to count. But with these actions now, excuse me, people are already having conversation. If it's to mobilize ourselves, have our own party, and have our own consensus candidate who is going to represent us at different levels from across different states, even at the presidency. We will vote for the person to become the president. I'm excited, like I said, that because this is the beginning of a lot of things to change in this country, and I hope that we sustain this momentum. Yes.
Question: do you think that any youth or anybody that wants to the youth will vote for, do you think the person can come from either PDP or APC?
No, it's not going to be PDP or APC. Like I said, the conversation is around having our own party, as separate Absolutely. From, we already know the PDP and APC people, all those old people that have been the cause of our problem. They've not done anything to improve our lives. That's a known fact. Everywhere, they've not done anything. So we are not even talking about them. Their generation has failed us. Buhari's generation has failed us. Like President Buhari, like you mentioned, he was a president in the military regime. He's president now. What has he done? He hasn't done anything for us. tangibly that we can look to. So the last thing that is contained in this statement is to deal with a report of crimes committed against citizens. An investigative team will be constituted, which will include civil society organizations and corporates will be punished. So now what the government is saying is that they're going to set up investigative panels that will investigate all these allegations of brutalities by
Yes.
officers of the force and all, and then make sure that
Yes.
they are brought to book. Those are the actions that we are calling for. So for us, yes, they've spoken well, but we want to see these 5 resolutions, implemented
Yeah. Yeah.
transparently for us to see. We want to see reforms. We want to see that these officers who are guilty are prosecuted and the families that are affected are paid compensations. We want the families to have justice. So we've achieved just one. SARS has been ended. We are not backing down. And like you said, I'll just use this opportunity to say thank you to our celebrities in this country, because for once, even our celebrities have
Absolutely.
have have shown
I
that.
was even surprised. I was even surprised that our celebrities got involved with it. Because I want to say that I think with their involvement, that is why the government, the government really noticed that, okay, this thing is really, we have to do something here. I wish the celebrities stay together until maybe for next election, support a candidate that is going to, do things for them. Because if you remember, during the last election when Showore contested, the youth did not even vote for this guy. So we need these celebrities now to say, okay, whoever is going to be the next president, which we are going to support, all the youth should support this president, this candidate. All the youth should, be behind this guy and support him to become, because like virtue, Nigeria is a great country. It's a wonderful country. Our people are very wonderful in the whole entire continent of Africa. It's just that our government government don't fall our hand for a long time. So we need a new
As
way
in so
forward.
much.
We need a new way forward. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So I'm trying to read through the comments that people have been posting. Someone is saying their uniform should be changed as well. It looks like the uniform makes them act like devils. Also, if they decide to change the uniform should be made in Nigeria, not in China. Yeah, so the thing is, Nigeria Police Force has about 3 uniforms or so. But
Yeah.
they when they were doing the police rebranding and all of those police is your friend noise that they were making on the media everywhere, the uniform
Yes.
now is black and sky blue. So they wear black trousers or skirts and then
Yeah.
sky blue shirts. So I think that is better. They no longer dress on that black and black that they used to wear. That really made them act like
I
devils.
I hate that black and black. I remember like in the 80s, that's the black pants and sky blue shirt. That's what they used to wear in the 80s. So but when they switched to this black and black, I didn't like it right from the beginning. And the thing is that the government, the Nigerian police force is making these people buy their own uniform. It's making them buy their own uniform. Inside that 35,000 naira they pay them a month, they are making them buy their own uniform. They are making them pay their own transportation. They are making them feed their families with that. They are making, if there has to be police reform, it has to be reformed from the top, all the way from the top to the bottom. Reform it entirely. You cannot just say, okay, we are going to change uniform today, or we are going to do this one. Or reform the entire thing, unless if it's not going to change. Go ahead.
Yes, I agree with you. So, like you were saying, our celebrities are really mobilizing, and that's one thing that we really need to give it to them and appreciate that. For once, they've proven that
Yes.
they are celebrities, and Nigerian youth look up to them for a reason. People like Genevieve. Genevieve is not in the country, but she wrote an open letter to the president. Funny enough,
Normally, Genevieve doesn't. Normally, she doesn't say anything.
she
Normally she
doesn't.
doesn't say anything. Yes, yes. Go
Exactly.
ahead.
On a normal day, Genevieve doesn't talk about these things, but she tweeted, and the thing is, she indicated in her statement, in her open letter to the president, that even her niece, 13 years old, was also a victim of SARS brutality, just because she was carrying a
Yes,
laptop. So it's a lot.
yes.
A lot of people have had I saw a video that broke my heart so much. And a grown-up man crying over the death of, his son, because SARS killed
Yes.
this man. He said he had lived in the north for years. He never lost anything until he moved down to Port Harcourt, to Rivers State, and SARS officers killed his son for no reason. This young man just went out that day and never came back. This man cried. When I saw that video, it broke my heart. So a lot of
Yes.
these things have gone on for way too long. People have had enough. I can't count. There was a youth corps member, a lady, a corps member in Abuja. SARS arrested her. Why? We don't know. And it was suspected that they raped her and then they killed her the following day. Till today, the government has not said anything to her family. That's a youth corps member. I remember I also did my NYC, and I did my NYC in Jigawa State, far north, when this whole insurgency was really at the peak. So
Yes.
I can imagine myself being a victim of such, God forbid. How was my family going to react? And they assure us that you have the protection of the federal government. As you go on your NYC, you are the federal government's property. Anything happens to you,
Yeah.
the federal government will answer. No, till today, they've not done anything to that girl's family. May her soul rest in peace.
But
It's really bad.
also the thing is that, like, that police officer now, he's not, like it is done in other places. I'm not trying to compare Nigeria to other countries, but I'm saying that other countries that do things well, we should copy from them. That police officer
Yes.
that killed that girl, nobody knows. No, an average Nigerian doesn't know him. But in other parts of the world, they will put their picture. It be made public, so that people will know. They will be in the news. There will be an investigation done. In Nigeria, you hear them say we are going to investigate, and that it ends there. We don't know anything that happens after that.
And,
I
and,
think there
and
should be
another thing,
transparency.
yes,
Go
another
ahead.
thing when youth are saying is every police officer should have their full names written on their uniforms, all of them, their full names, because most times they hide under this anonymity and commit these crimes because they know their identity is not or is not
There
disclosed
should
on
be
their uniform. So
name and number, name and
boldly,
number.
yes, name and number boldly written on their uniforms, so that anybody that commits any of these brutalities, we can identify them and say, okay, this is the name of this officer. Just the reforms, like taking the force. There's technology now, so technology should be deployed in policing this country. It's a lot,
Yes, yes.
but we are going to get there. Someone is saying they should continue to protest until the appropriate laws are put in place. Exactly. That's what we are saying. Food Delight TV by Inke says, hello, sister. Good evening, Inke. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I do believe the police force must be paid fairly to support their families. However, the police force must be men and women of integrity. Exactly. Integrity is a key word there, because if they do not have integrity, no matter the remunerations the government gives them, they will still resort to these,
Yeah.
brutalities and these human rights violations. Looking at what some advanced nations are using to police their country and fight crime, we need to deploy the technology in Nigeria. Exactly. This is an opportunity for us to create jobs for our people legally. Exactly. So these are the conversations that we are having, and we are looking forward to it. All these reforms that we are all suggesting, we hope that the government, yes, man alive, I want to say something, the government will really look
Yeah.
into it.
They should start employing graduates. They should start. We have so many, as every year Nigeria graduates more than 150,000, no, more than 200,000 graduates every year. Nigerian universities graduates more than 200,000 graduates. We should now start phasing out all these quacks from the police officers, from the police department. Phase them out gradually and bring in graduates. A guy that has spent 5-6 years in university will not start messing around in the street, chasing boss with a gun or doing something like that. Most of these people
And
that
do
they
you
brought them
know,
from some place, no training, nothing. They just give them uniform, go and fight. We need graduates, people that know something, people that can communicate with you, people who know the value of life, not somebody they go and bring out from some cattle rearing area and then bring him to be a police officer. We need people educated. We have a lot of Nigerians educated, for God's sake. Bring educated Nigerians into the police force, and then they will start. I mean, a Nigerian that has spent time in university, is educated, will not want to live in a dilapidated barracks. So the change will start from within. They will not start demanding they'll start demanding this thing from within. All these guys that are bring them from other Kafanchang or this, they put them in police force. They don't know. It's just if they put them in a dirty barrack, they don't care. So we need Nigerians that have graduates. Start bringing in graduates to the Nigerian police force and remove all these people.
And that's a valid point you've made there. But the thing is, there are graduates in the police force, but those ones those are not the ones that come out on the road. That's one thing you need to understand. The ones that are graduates that are recruited into the Nigerian, my friend, she's a female police officer. That's someone with a master's degree. She's not even, I think they deployed her to the headquarters in Abuja. She's not even in all these divisions somewhere or standing on the road. Those ones, those are the ones that handle all of those administrative issues in different departments. The police also has different departments. You have the communications, you have the medicals, you have different parts. So the ones that they deploy to the street are the recruits, which is the point you're also making, that they should start recruiting more graduates than all these secondary school dropouts, all these people that they just recruit because those ones, they don't pay them as much. They just recruit them, give them guns and tell them you are posted to this place. And those are the ones that have zero training, that come out to do rubbish on the roads and harass citizens.
That's true.
I remember one police woman. That woman stepped on her nerves one day. I felt like we were going out to a meeting. We were running late. My colleague was driving the car. We got to a junction, an intersection. So the traffic light asked us to stop. We stopped. This woman just started.
She'll tell you to come and pass.
That's what she was doing. My colleague did not move. My colleague stopped.
Yes.
This woman just came from where she was standing and met us. That we beat traffic light. We said, Madam, look at where the traffic is. Look at where it is. Look at where we are standing. Yes. How are you saying we beat traffic? Look at you. Do you know this woman? You are not going anywhere. So you say me I'm lying now, Abi. You are going to see. You are going to see today. So you say I'm lying. We said, Madam, officer, we did not say you are lying, but we also said we did not beat traffic. We did not, and they use this traffic thing to harass people. This woman delayed us there. She said, okay, I'm going to call reinforcement. Next thing she was shouting and calling her colleague. Say, Madam, what? But really, because we really didn't understand what was going on. But when you get to where police is, it becomes a case of the police, the word of the police against your own word.
And it was, yes.
So you really cannot defend yourself, because they can just lie against you because they want to get you, rope you in and extort money from you. So those are really, the issues that I'm glad that we are beginning to speak up against and to ask for reforms. The first step is SARS has been dissolved and the government is promising reforms. So let's watch how they do. But the tempo is still high. A lot of people are saying we are not going to back off the streets. You have said it. We want to see you commit to concrete actions. And most importantly, for now, people are calling that the president should issue an executive order. And the legislature, I know that last week, the Senate actually, the House of Reps actually sat and started deliberating on the matter, on the issue of SARS. There was a motion that was moved in the House that the issue of SARS should be looked into and should be ended. So I hope that they are going to continue with the legislative action when the week starts, and they make sure that they put a law in place that disbands SARS legally, and the judiciary is also going to take actions to prosecute all of those people. And another thing is, people that were protesting, peaceful protests, we got reports that some people have been arrested. So people are calling for those people to be released with immediate effect, because peaceful protest is our right as granted in the constitution. It wasn't violent, nobody bore arms, it was peaceful. So there's no reason whatsoever for arresting anybody. So those are the things Nigerians are demanding of the government, and I like it. Someone like African Burna Boy has set up a foundation, a project Protect Nigeria, where we are going to have medical personnel, we're going to have legal practitioners to provide services to, especially for people who have been arrested. Now, the legal
Yeah.
personnel who are going to, come to their defense and, take up their cases for them. Also, I'm glad, and he also set up a fund that, he's going to mobilize resources people can make donations into, to provide financial support, legally and medically, to people who are either injured in the course of the protest, and all of those things. So I really like the actions that our celebrities are taking. Trust me, for once, I'm proud of them as celebrities, that they've
Me too.
demonstrated. Before now, anything happen, everyone will be hiding, and Nigerians will be calling them yeye British, that you are not celebrities, you are yeye British. But this time around, truly they've earned the name celebrities, and that's what we are
Yeah,
calling them.
that's true.
People like
Yeah.
P Square came out, Don Jazzy came out, Tiwa Savage was out, Fast the Bad Guy, Run Town, a lot of
Whiskey,
them,
that's all.
actresses. Yes, even actresses were out on the streets walking,
Yes.
reality TV stars, all of them. And they tweet. Politicians were also, tweeting and talking. Reno Mokri, he really was on Twitter too, tweeting. He mobilized us, said we should unfollow Buhari. He had 3 point, I think 3.4 followers on
I
Twitter. That we should
I
unfollow him. He's going to get the message. I unfollowed him personally. I
I
unfollowed
unfollowed
him.
him yesterday. Yep, yep,
Yes.
that's true.
So we are sending that loud message to him that enough is enough. We've had enough. We've had enough of this rubbish. And we want change, and that change is
Yeah.
coming. We are not going to give up. Once we are done with these police issues, we are going to take up the next matter. It could be electricity or for anyone. We are going to
Electricity
decide.
first, electricity. That's the word. That's the most
Yes,
important thing. Electricity.
yes.
That's the
We
word I
take
want.
on we take on
Electricity.
it. Yes, we take on
Yes.
it and make sure that that too is addressed, because we deserve better in this country, for crying out loud. Because we cannot be citizens and we vote these people to serve us, but then when they come into power, they treat us like. And what beats me is how every election period they come with all those promises, and people believe them, vote for them.
Ah,
It
they
really
buy them
annoys.
rice now. They give them rice and Derica tomatoes, and they give them 5,000 naira. That's it. We have to tell Nigerians, you are selling your vote, you are selling your future to these people. I don't know. We need some type of reorientation, because we have Nigerians. We think that let's say my village now, if a politician comes to campaign, our people expect for you to drop something before you leave. It shouldn't be so. It should not be so. Because if the politician comes to campaign in your neighborhood and then gives you maybe 50,000 naira, that's all he's going to do for you. Don't expect that when he wins, he's going to come back and do that road, because he's not going to do it. And another thing is that we Nigerians, over a period of time, we have, like, let's say some guy live in my street and say he wants to contest for a local government chairman. That guy from my street too, he will campaign, and maybe we vote him in. On that street, when he wins, he will come back and demolish his old house, erect a mansion. Nigerians would not say anything. Where did he get that money? We voted for him to go there and do something for us, not for himself. We Nigerians, we have to start now, because like you said earlier, now that we know that if we come together, we will achieve something. We have to start asking for so many, because we have so many problems. As big as Nigeria is, as great as Nigeria is, we need for the government to start working for us, not for them. Typical Nigerian senator earns more than 10 million naira a month. A month! While they are paying people, guys, hardworking guys with 5 children, 30,000 naira a month. How should that be? How do you expect that to happen? You know, so that reform, that it has to be like all around. Please, if it comes to a time where we have to elect a decent leader, we have to elect somebody that will come and work for us, not somebody that will come and serve certain group of people or serve godfathers or that. We don't need all that anymore. All these smaller African countries, they are leaving us behind. They are doing things, they are leaving us behind. Nigerians are now going to Ghana to go to school. Ghana that used to come to Nigeria, Nigerians are now going to Ghana to go to school, because it is not guaranteed that you will go to school 4 years uninterrupted in Nigeria, because the strike, government has failed to pay lecturers. So whatever they are going to do, please. And you said that you're going to put some kind of is it what's it called? Well, I want to say, if you have that information where Burna Boy is doing that thing where you have to donate, if you have the information, please either put it on your social media platform, so that, you know, I don't mind it. And there's so many other Nigerians would like to donate also.
Okay. I'm going to share that on my this thing. But if you go on Instagram, you can check Project Protect Nigeria.
Okay.
Let me show you. This is.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check for it on my Instagram.
Yes. This is the handle.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've seen it. So because
yes.
Nigerians need to donate to this thing, either whatever they are going to use the money for, either to bail people or to further the cause,
yes, and
or to
apart
use the
from
money to
donations,
campaign.
even volunteers, they also want volunteers.
Yes.
They also want volunteers. So volunteers who are lawyers and medical volunteers will be greatly appreciated. Those are the volunteers they want. Medical and I'm trying to see how I'll copy the link. So if you're a Nigerian in the country, you are a lawyer or you are a medical personnel, you can volunteer with Project Protect Nigeria. It's very important. This is where our services are. And if you go there, you can click, here is help. You can, if you need help, maybe you were protesting and something happened, you can come to the site here. I need help.
Yes.
You can fill it in there. So I'm really proud of Burna Boy. Like, a lot of people were, you know, calling him out on social media, saying he was silent,
I when people were calling him out.
But for me, I felt like that was really, really mean for Nigerians to do that. Burna Boy has been singing about these things, he has been talking about this thing for a long time now. When the answers start, answers not start today. Burna Boy has talked about this thing. The Monsters You Made, one of the songs he just released, is talking about this, you know, these injustices. So I don't know why Nigerians were calling him out, but as usual, he has done this. This is like the most thought out initiative by a Nigerian celebrity. And I'm not saying that the others have not done anything. The mobilization that they've done is really great. But for me, this is like one another angle to the whole issue, you know, legal and medical support that people might require in the course of the protest. So it's really welcome. The link is, let me see. I'm trying to open it here. So give me a second. The rich.ng. It's loading. We are the monsters you made. Yeah.
The rich.ng.
Yes, the rich. Yes. It's opening. Let me see. Projects. Oh no, no, that's not the link. There's Project Protect NG. Let me type it.
Okay, it's Project Protect NG, not Protect Nigeria, right?
Yes, Protect NG. The link is on the Twitter handle. On I said Twitter handle on the Instagram handle. I'm going to
Instagram
copy
handle.
it
Okay.
later.
All
Yes, I'll
right.
copy it later and drop on the um in the comment section when this video goes up. So that anybody that comes back to it and wants to check the site up, they can. So for me, this is I'm really glad, like you also said when we started having this conversation, that for me, I'm so proud that for once we are realizing how powerful we are and how much power we have in our unity as Nigerians. For once, we have spoken with one voice, and the government has heard our voice and has taken action. So we are not going to
Yes.
relent. We'll continue.
Yeah.
People were sleeping out. People were sleeping outside, you know, all in the same
Yeah.
effort to end this SARS. Yes, yes, that's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
You know, people were sleeping at the government, the Lagos State
The Lego,
Assembly
I saw
complex.
fast when they took out the chairs, they was just sleeping on the floor, you know?
Yes, so it
Yeah.
was a loud message, and we are going to continue like that. I'm so excited. Honestly, I felt very, very bad when this whole thing was happening. I cried. Like I felt like we as a country we should be known for better. We should be in the news for good things, not police brutality, not violation of our rights in our own country. I cried. I felt really bad about it. So I was very, very excited this evening when the Inspector General of Police made that announcement. But we are not going to stop, we are going to
Yeah.
continue and make sure the issues are addressed.
All right. Well, I just wanted to
Yeah.
come on and just, say a little word. Let me get out of here so that somebody
Yes.
else will come on and say something.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What we need to do is we are still trending the NSAS hashtag, so we've not stopped. So
Yes.
you can keep tweeting as well. Keep tweeting, follow the trends, and let's sustain the conversation. There are over about 4 point something million tweets already with the hashtag. So it's a huge
Yes.
movement that it has trended worldwide, and we are not stopping. We'll make sure the right things are done for us. So let's keep the hashtag moving. Tweet, tag the president, tag everybody. I tweeted yesterday and was tagging the African Union. Like, is that serious? Because it's a violation of rights. And as an African Union member state,
Yeah.
that should not be. That shouldn't be. So we'll continue. We'll
Nigeria,
continue.
Nigeria should be leading the African Union. Right now we have
Exactly.
other countries like Ethiopia or other maybe Tanzanian leaders or even Egypt. Those people, they used to be like Nigeria used to be the leader in these places. So we need to get back our strength. We need to regain our position in Africa.
Yes. All these old leaders, you are
Mm.
going to face them out. Don't worry. Come 2022.
Cameroon,
Yeah.
Cameroon has been president for like 40 years. Uganda, he's
It's
been there for
really,
like
and
for
see, the thing
35
is,
years.
the thing is, it's going on in the whole of the continent. It's not just Nigeria. A lot of
I know.
these people in different parts of Africa are doing the same thing. Similar atrocities are being carried out. I remember in Zimbabwe, people were complaining about this whole police brutalities, police violence against protesters. Different. So for me, I think it's high time we took actions as African youth. We have the power. Look at what happened in, is it Mali? No, not Mali. This country that has been that there was a coup there recently.
That's Mali. It's Mali.
Mali, yeah,
It's Mali. I
that
think it's Mali.
the
Yes.
ECOWAS has been going there for years. It's Mali. ECOWAS has been sending peace envoys, and the youth are saying the negotiations that the government is the ECOWAS envoys are bringing and are not satisfactory to them, so they are not going to stop. Those are the kind of actions that we as African youth need to start taking. Africa has to be great again, because if one country in Africa is not great, it's going to affect all of us. So we
Affect the
all
others.
have to
That's true.
rise all across Africa. Let's move across Africa and ensure that we force change to happen. Because the truth is, this change is not going to fall on our laps. We have to force it to happen. We have to force it to happen. And this should be a signal to all of us as African youth that we have power. It's just starting in Nigeria. Let it, happen in another African country, that, oh, the youth have risen, that, okay, we've seen this, enough of this. So action must be taken, because these are the same leaders. Buhari is in ECOWAS, he's in African Union. So he cannot go to the African Union and talk about peacekeeping in another country when his own country is on fire. He cannot do it.
That's true.
The president in Mali cannot go and talk about peace in the African Union, head of government and head of states general assembly, when his country is on fire. So we need to tackle these leaders in our individual countries and make sure that they are responsible. They live up to the responsibilities of serving us before they can go to anywhere and deliberate on policies and all. There is the African Union 2063 agenda. A lot of African youths are probably not aware of the agenda, but there are aspirations that have been listed out in that agenda, and the goals and all the actions that they will take to see these things happen. We are the ones to make sure we hold them to it and also play our part to make sure that, okay, they're talking about by 2063, they want an Africa where there's good governance, there's respect for human rights, there's rule of law, there's justice. Another aspiration says they want Africa that is peaceful and united or prosperous, one of those things. So how can those
Yeah.
things be achieved when the different countries, Mali is protesting today, Zimbabwe is protesting tomorrow, because things are not happening right? So we'll have to hold them accountable so that we can get things right, so that by 2063 we can boast and say we have achieved ABC. And most importantly, so that Africa can take back that position that we have. As this continent is blessed with everything, human and natural resources, but these greedy, they are not even leaders, these greedy few individuals who have seized power exploit this power to their own advantage. So this is the beginning. We'll sustain this tempo and let it be a ripple effect across Africa.
One thing that we have going on for us very well in Africa, we don't have a lot of natural disaster. All these hurricanes, it doesn't happen there. Or
Yeah.
earthquake doesn't happen there. You can have a small landslide, mudslide here and there, but major natural disaster does not happen in Africa. So we should not be in a position where we lack things. We should not be. And my point is, how can we come together now? Because to get power from these people, to make these people realize that the time is up. This power does not belong to you, it belongs to the people. Because when they get up there, they enjoy the position, they enrich themselves, enrich their families, and they don't care about anybody else. We lack.
Exactly. And they enjoy all the immunity that the government has, the government positions that they occupy has to bring. So the immunity is for them and their family, so they don't care. Yeah, so I have two Niger, you're welcome. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm just I'm enjoying the discussion so far, and I'm a little bit I'm not very familiar with this SARS issue. So from what I gather about SARS is that they were formed to be able to a kind of combat robbery and some of all these little kind of Yahoo boys, these are people that commit fraud along, in Nigeria there. So my concern with all the recent events is that, is there anything being put in place to still do that job, to prevent
The truth
people
is,
from getting into that area again?
yes, they were set up
To
to
Nigeria.
address.
Go ahead, Virtue. Go ahead. I'll say something after that.
Okay, so the truth is they were set up to tackle issues of armed robbery, kidnapping, I know all those violent crimes that were happening. But let's ask ourselves, let's do an appraisal. Every program of the government is set up to serve a particular purpose. But when that purpose is not being served by the government program, what do? You go back to the drawing board, you evaluate what you've done, you pick out lessons learned, you pick out gaps that need to be closed, and then you come up with a new program or an improved program to address the issues that the program is meant to address. That has not been the case with SARS. SARS was set up, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad was set up, but ever since then, let me just take you back a bit. I'm not sure you live in Nigeria, but when the lockdown was announced, that was in April, a lot of Lagosians were living in perpetual fear of 1 million boys. Just a group of young boys that came together because the government said, stay at home, don't go anywhere. They decided to terrorize Lagosians. At night, they will go to different parts of Lagos, rob people for hours. The police will not show up. The SARS, the so-called SARS, that was set up for this same robbery incident, will not show up. Someone said these 1 million boys came. They were robbing in their area. They called SARS. SARS said they don't have they don't have fuel in their car to come. Those things that they do, they didn't come. They were robbed for hours. So why are they there if they are not going to respond to distress calls to address robbery? The next thing they do is during the day, I can be dressed like this, going on the streets, SARS will just stop me. I've never encountered them. I will never encounter them. But that is what they do. You dress up, you are going on your own. They just stop you on the street. Maybe because you're a guy, you have dreadlocks. They will just stop you. Say you are a criminal. They'll pick you. How do you just profile a human being for crying out loud because they have certain dreadlocks on their head? You say they are criminals. The next thing, you are demanding. Another thing they do, when they stop you, they ask you to give them money. Why? If you tell them you don't have money, they lead you to the ATM. They tell you to withdraw the money from your account and give them.
Yes.
That is criminal. Those are not security officials. That is criminal. So they have no business whatsoever being on the roads, being outside anywhere in the country. They are not serving us. They are the ones terrorizing us as citizens. They are the ones harassing us. That is why they need to leave. That is why Nigerians said enough is enough. You can be driving a Mercedes Benz, they will just stop you, say, why are you driving this car? How did you get it? Like, seriously? When has driving a good car become a
It's
problem?
true. So,
There
but
are hardworking Nigerians in this country who are making legitimate incomes. So they
yeah,
cannot drive a good car or they cannot own a good phone.
yeah, Virtue. You see, the thing is, my concern is that we react to the negative activities and corrupt, downright criminal practices of these agents, and then we are at risk of throwing the baby out with the bathwater because we forget their main purpose. Their main purpose was to stem the tide of this 4119 Yahoo boys thing that has been damaging the image of Nigeria for decades now. And if you are to go by any standard, you will say that they have been marginally successful to a point. Because when you talk about Nigeria now, the thought that comes to mind is it's not always that anymore. Some people, you are beginning to get it, more and more people realize that Nigeria is more than Yahoo boys, more than 419 now. So that was work that was done by some of these organizations. So we have to keep that in mind when we want to start making some of all these changes, because I've seen these type of changes occur, like in the Arab Spring. Arab Spring can turn to winter in one moment when the wrong forces take control of these things. We have to keep our eye on the dial. What is replacing it? Do we know? We don't know what is replacing it. Are we going to allow the same forces to arise in the country again? 419 and all the fraud and all that stuff starts happening again, start damaging the good work a lot of people have put in place. There are corrupt cops in America too. There are corrupt cops in the UK. They do corrupt things, and you have to fish them out, deal with them. I'm not against the fact that they close SARS down, but the question is, you have to replace it. You have to replace it because they have a mission.
You see, the thing is, this SARS initially, when SARS was created, I think it was created like in the early 90s in Lagos State. Only Lagos State alone had SARS to combat the spate of armed robbery in Lagos State. So when it became successful in Lagos, they now adopted it in various states in Nigeria. What you are saying now is that they have been successful. That's fine. But I think there should be a cyber crime unit in the Nigerian police force that fights this. Not policemen standing in the street with guns. Because how many times did you hear them? They say they killed they killed police officers, killed Yahoo guy. Most of the time they kill innocent Nigerians. There should be a cyber crime unit in the Nigerian police force to fight cyber crime.
Exactly.
I understand that they have success. I understand that they have succeeded in kind of reducing the spate of Yahoo boys in the street, but it should not be the average police guy on the street with guns. No, there should be a cyber crime unit that monitors cyber activities either on the phone, on the computer, or any other way. There should be. And the vacuum you are talking about, now that they've taken them out, because from the inspector general or the guy that was giving the analysis today said that those police officers have been redeployed to other places. Now there's going to be a vacuum. Who is going to fill that vacuum? It's the same question I was kind of asking, because I don't know. Because armed robbers are going to come back again in the streets. Forget about Yahoo boys. If Nigeria is a country that works well, if Nigeria is a country that functions well, if we realize that, okay, we have one of our problems that gives us a bad image is cybercrime or Yahoo boys, we should have a specialized unit that to tackle that, not an average police officer that stands on the street to collect your phone, to see who you've been chatting with, to see what you have been doing. We need to have that specialized cybercrime unit to fight that.
You know what? I agree with your point 100%, because I think it does make sense that there is something replacing what is being removed right now. It's quite a good point to make. Whether it should be inside the police force, there was a reason why in the first place it was created to be outside the police force. And about them being indoors and focusing on the online activities, that too can also help reduce some of all these face-to-face issues that people are having with them. But then, okay, like the robbery stuff you're talking about, I think the robbery one has reduced in Lagos mainly because of the security systems people have been putting in place. Because generally, when you have security systems in place, it reduces crime in that area, like CCTVs and all the rest of it. The same thing happened in the West here. So that is what is reducing crime, not necessarily SARS. But what is reducing the crime of people going on the street physically, taking laptops, doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing and all those things, is some of these people that physically go and stop the people. They actually arrested Wodemaya when Wodemaya was in Nigeria. And because they suspected him. Yeah, because they are that active. So
because he was carrying a laptop, right?
Yes. So
he was having a conversation with Dynast Amir one time. You might know him. He's also a YouTuber. He said when he came to Nigeria, another thing, if they see you with tattoos on your body, they'll stop you. They'll say you're a criminal. I don't know when having tattoos became a crime. So those are the things. I agree with the argument that you have brought for that. There should be a special cyber crime unit in the Nigerian police force. See, Yahoo is a cyber crime. It's not a physical crime. You cannot collect my phone and see anything inside and say I'm Yahoo. It's a cyber crime that should be investigated, digitally. So if the Nigerian police force is serious about tackling Yahoo boys and all, they should tackle them. A lot of the people that these SARS officers have killed are innocent people. I gave an example of that corps member, youth corps member, a female that was arrested by Nigerian police force. She was dressed on youth corps member uniform. Was she a criminal? They wasted her life. So those are the things we're not saying that they should not fight crime. Yes, fight crime, but do it in a way that is dignified, in a way that makes us feel we are protected, that makes us feel you're on our side, you are fighting to protect us and keep us safe. Not killing. Yesterday, during the protest in Ogbomosho, a young Nigerian came out to protest.
Was
Police
killed.
shot him. He was killed. So those are the things we are saying. He wasn't armed. Peaceful protest. Some have been arrested.
I agree with you 100%. I think you are right on that. That's in terms of, they can't keep doing these sort of things. We are people. I agree with that 100%. It's just that when we do these things, when we go out on the streets to do these things, we have to think about what is going to replace it. We don't just say remove this and then that's it. Okay, no plan for what is supposed to replace it. Because if you don't have that in place, you could lead to worse situations later on. So that is just my take on the
So
SARS.
do you have, because it is the same question you're asking is the same question I'm asking also. Do you have any suggestion on what could replace this police? Because Nigerians fear authority. Nigerians fear people in uniform. Somebody that is supposed to go and rob here or steal from here. If you see a uniform person, he will change his mind. So do you have any suggestion like what can replace those guys on the streets?
I think I do have some. One of the things you can do, now that it has been dissolved, you can create a new body that is well quality managed. In terms of, when I say quality managed, let's say even if you send them out on the street, you have also a counter body that goes and acts as if they are like, what they call them? What do they call them? Detective shoppers. Yeah, detective shoppers. They go into shops, pretend as if they are shoppers to see whether the security of the shop is performing their duties. The same thing. You can go on the streets, have somebody dressed like a tout, see how they perform. Whether this thing, you quality manage them. You have people investigate them and see whether they are doing their job the way they are supposed to be doing it. Because one of the things, if I was the one, I'll say, okay, I found this. You guys go on the street. Then I will send a set of detectives, internal detectives that will go out there, act as protect prospective criminals, and see how they respond. You keep doing that regularly. Soon it will be reinforced in your mind. When you go out there to do your job, you do your job. Otherwise, you'll be caught.
That is a valid idea. But the thing with Nigeria is that we need educated people and smart people at the top. We don't need some, like I've said, we don't need some cattle rearers or some people that don't know anything leading a whole group of people. We need people with ideas. We need people that, like you said, people would come up with this. Something new from the top. Because this idea you are bringing up now, if you say you want to go and sell that idea to a police department, Nigerian police force, they will say, what is that? It's not going to work. They start to come up with different excuses because they don't want to accept something new.
Yeah, they can say that, but you can also decide that everybody wears a body cam that will be streaming down to this thing. That's another one that is completely dispassionate. It doesn't care who you are. You wear the body cam, and whatever you do is being recorded and sent back to the station. And the technology is already there on the ground. You put it down and you send them on the streets. And that will just kill this whole thing once and for all. If you don't have the body cam on, you'll be presumed guilty. It's that simple. And then the body cam will have your GPS location, will have everything. Every communication you have with the public will be there.
Nigeria government will not chop. Oga will chop his money. Everybody will chop before they'll come and think of buying body camera. It needs vision. It needs somebody that has a 21st century mentality. Not all these analog police superintendents, police commissioners that we have. We need somebody with like modern day knowledge of how things work.
Yeah, and it's very cheap. It's not as expensive as people think. It's
It's
very
not.
really
It's
cheap.
no. It's not expensive. It's not expensive. Like I can go to what do you call Best Buy here and buy it. But for Nigeria, you need to change their mind completely so that they will know that these things work, so that they will accept it when bring it in. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So yeah. To do that, you just need to have the people accept, the law enforcement people accept it. As a matter of fact, I would recommend it for all law enforcement in these urban areas like in Lagos, Abuja, Benin, all those places. So if they do that, man, there is a feedback. There's a bit of a feedback. So okay, I think that should be fine now. So if they do that, that will be immune to corruption, because if you make it by law, that because the hours of recording when somebody is on duty will be there. If it is faulted, that person will have to answer for it. Why is your camera off? What were you up to? What were you doing? You have to answer for it. And you have fewer people managing quite a lot of people quite easily because it's based on tech. And that works. We know it works because we know the accomplishment, what CCTV has done in the West. We know what it has done in Lagos. We know how technology helps reduce crime. So these things are not that far-fetched, and I think they can actually do them. And it's just widespread, virtue grace, you are there on the ground. When we are protesting these things, these are the kind of ideas you want to start proposing to protect the people and protect the law enforcement too.
Okay.
So
thank you very much to Niger. Okay, go on.
Yeah. I was saying that if they do that, it will protect the people and also protect law enforcement from this thing. When something happens, they can be able to defend themselves. I didn't do this. This is what they accuse me of, and all the rest. Corruption will disappear, because how are you supposed to ask somebody to go and pay you money when you are being recorded? They can pull that record out because that record is going on the cloud immediately. They can pull the record out and say, "What have you been up to?" And you can even tie that recording to machine learning that will be able to detect certain language that you use. So you can see there are ways to do these things.
Yes, those are the reforms that we are asking for. So, like they as contained in the statement that the Inspector General of Police released, that they are going to have citizens and strategic stakeholder forums where citizens will contribute to policing, suggest ideas and all. These are the things that we'll suggest to them when we have the opportunities and all, digitalize Nigerian policing so that things are done more transparently. We have Hanks, welcome to the stream. Let's have your take. That they are going to have citizens and strategic stakeholder forums where citizens. It seems like there's a delay on Hank's side. Digitalize Nigerian policing so that things are done more transparently. Yes, I can hear you. Please mute your
Turn down your volume.
Use the volume.
Turn down your volume.
Turn down the volume so we can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you
Good.
now.
I think they look at Nigeria. I don't understand what is happening to Nigeria. The greatest police in this world.
There's still a feedback. So if you are logged in with more than one device, please mute one of the devices. Turn down the volume on the other device, then you can speak. Yes, I can hear you. Okay, he's going to figure it out. I'm sure he wants to fix that then. Excuse me, we can continue. So let me just quickly look at the comments. Someone is saying there could be fear that the police would relax on their fight on crime and soon people would be crying for the Sars to be reinstated. The thing is, we are not against the police fighting crime, but we want it to be done in a way that is more transparent, in a way that is more dignifying. Enough of the killing of innocent citizens. You don't just go that. I held back on making a video about this because the images are really too gory, and YouTube does not allow content like that. That's why I didn't make a video, because you guys know me, when I make videos I like to show you footages, I like to show you images and all, but some of these images are too gory. The brutalities, you see the actions where police are beating citizens, you know, all of those things, they are too much for me to put out there. That's why I decided to do a live stream, you know, to only talk about the issues. So it's really serious. That's why for the first time ever, Nigerian youth have said enough is enough, and this has happened. So we want it to be reformed. We want the Nigerian police force to be reformed, and a more trained, well-trained, well-oriented unit of the police is set up to tackle crime in a way that is, you know, transparent, that every Nigerian will see and say, yes, this person actually committed a crime, and that's why the person was arrested. Not you know, you being arrested for dressing fine, you know, looking good, driving a good car, all of that. Those are the things we are rejecting. So yes, the police have heard us. They should reform the police force and then train people who will tackle issues of robbery, kidnapping, and all of those things in the country. Excuse me. Another person says the institutions in Africa must work. Exactly, they must work. We are going to do the work. Enough of sitting down and waiting for our leaders to do these things, because they will never do it. Trust me. We have to take the change we want to see in Africa by force. It is not going to come to us on a platter of gold. We need to take it. This is the time for us. And in fact, this year 2020 has come with a lot of things that you know, from COVID-19. You know, COVID-19 came, it wasn't as deadly, but SARS has killed more people, especially in Nigeria, than COVID-19. That's what we are saying. So why should that be so? It has to be addressed. Let there be reform.
It's been dismantled now, isn't it? So that one is bye
It's
bye.
been dismantled, but we want an executive order from the president, not just the Inspector General of Police saying yes, SARS has been disbanded or dissolved. Let there be concrete government actions to back up that pronouncement, because this is not the first time the Inspector General of Police has said SARS is dissolved. They say it, but then when everything goes down, you still see them on this road.
Personally,
terrorizing people even more.
If I was doing it, I'm going to roll it back. You roll things back than just collapse them, because they are part of the ecosystem right now. And when you pull things out, like this man alive said, he said, you create a vacuum, and nature abhors vacuums. Something else replaces it there. So you roll them back and replace them with something better. And I believe that, you know, something is going to happen, and whatever movement we take, you know, from this time and forward, we have to always keep in mind there are people out there, forces out there that wants to hijack our good intentions, and we always have to have a goal in mind. You have to have what you want in mind, because if you don't have that what you want in mind, some other person will define it for you. They will define it for you. So I want SARS. If you say you want SARS off the street, you say I want this. Remove SARS, put a police officers with cameras on the street. You have to prescribe what you want. Otherwise, they will take SARS off the street and maybe replace them with something more nefarious, because some other person will give you something else. You see, you have to have a vision of what you want when you're moving forward. I've seen this happen a lot of times where a movement is hijacked. You know, the Arab Spring is a big one. You know, 1 minute everybody's fighting for democracy, the next minute everything has been hijacked and turned so sour. And the same thing happened even in Black Lives Matter. Now the same thing is happening there too. They hijack it and start changing the narrative, because you have to have a clear goal for what you want. You have to say, this is what I want in numbers. You know, I want this. I want to resign. I want this one to go away. I want this police officer to come and testify in court. You have to have your demands, and so that it is clear.
Yeah, but from my observation right now, in what is happening in Nigeria, I cannot tell you who is the head or the leader in this protest. Because like you said, this Arab Spring, even in Black Lives Matter, you cannot pinpoint one person. That's why it's easy for that organization to be hijacked. So I would like for us to say, okay, this protest that is going on in Nigeria, this is a leader, so that anybody that has ideas can channel their ideas to this guy, so that this guy will now table that, idea to the government or whoever is going to make changes. Because otherwise, like you said, it is going to be hijacked by nefarious people, greedy people who are now going to exploit it for their own benefits.
Exactly. Even if you don't have one particular leader, you can have a specific manifesto. When you are protesting, I don't want SARS. I want police officers with cameras. I want so and so. You can have a manifesto. You have 2, 3, 5 points that people will know that, okay, this is what I'm asking for. Anybody that comes and says something else, what are you talking about? They said they want this. Why are you talking about something else? Are you see what I mean? So we have to be smart, because there are forces that take our resentments and our anger and shift it, channel it in different direction. And these things are beyond an individual. No matter how smart you are, they will eclipse you if you don't prepare before you start taking action. It's just one of the realities of life. And I believe that Nigeria has a lot of potential, because I'm currently based in the UK, but I have a business in Nigeria and we do a lot of good work there. So because I believe in the country, there's a lot that they have going for it. And Nigeria has made a lot of leaps forward in the last 2 decades. And whenever I hear anything that is about to start destabilizing Nigeria, I worry. Because I know there are people out there that don't want us to be okay. They will want to shift us in the wrong direction. So that is why I always exercise caution whenever I say, oh, you want change? Okay, what change? Tell us what change and what is going to replace it. Because I don't want tomorrow to start hanging my head in shame every day. I hear one other Yahoo person has done something here, one other Yahoo person has done something there, because nobody bothered to think about the after plan for SARS. You see what I mean?
So thank you very much. Hanks is back. So Hanks, let's hear you.
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Now that SARS has been dissolved, I don't understand. You can't fight crime in a situation whereby, if you go to Nigeria right now, the streets are dark. How can you fight crime without CCTV? Look at every crime that has happened in the developed world. How are they knowing? Through the CCTV. I don't know why our officials cannot see these things and just put them in place. To develop a country is not difficult. Here in Austria, where I live, there is no, you can't just come out. You see light everywhere. There are cameras everywhere. What are you going to do? Look at the crimes committed everywhere in the world, America, United Kingdom. Where police people can get these people, it's through crime, through the CCTV. This is what is happening everywhere, that people fight crime. Now, Georgia was worse than Nigeria in those days. The president, the man who turned Georgia around, came to Nigeria and tell us what to do. But up to today, nothing. After 60 years of oil exploration and everything, people are not patriotic to Nigeria. People ruling Nigeria trying to steal the money and get out. Look at Daisy Ali. Where is she today? She's in a 74,000 population country. 74,000. Where she's staying right now. How can you be a minister in Nigeria after ruling your country, your people? You went to another country of 74,000 population and stay there. This is what is happening to our country. Everybody that you have put in position, they just want to loot the country and get out. People are building houses in Saudi Arabia, building houses in Dubai. Look at our country, the only country we have. What does it cost to develop a nation, for God's sake? What does it cost?
Hanks, you know that I understand your frustrations, but I know of some good governors in Nigeria that have done some good work. And Nigeria has got, we've had a lot of, not very up to scratch leaders, but there are things that are happening on the ground, especially in the states, like the governor of Calabar, and quite a few states in Nigeria that Nigerians are proud of to call their governors. They are governors that are doing great things. And some of all these governors are going to move on to run for national office. Hopefully, with any luck, Nigeria is going to get a good leader. And I think Nigeria is primed for a good leader right now. And we are primed for a good leader.
Hello, can you hear me? I don't know why when we get out of Nigeria, you cannot forget that country. That is one thing that is wrong with me here. Because I always watch Nigerian news. I cannot get my mind out of Nigeria. This is a country, the citizens of this country love that country so much, wherever we are in the world. Just do things right. That is just what we want. What does it cost to develop a country, for God's sake?
The thing about developing Nigeria is that whenever you hear about the government wanting to borrow money to do anything, because people don't trust the government, they fear that people are going to run away with the money. Everybody is up in arms saying the government is about to borrow money to build a train station or build a road, and everybody's worried about that. Hence, Nigeria's debt is quite low compared to its GDP.
Is that what you think? Oh, you are among the people preaching this GDP ratio of rock. That is rubbish, my brother.
Hello, it's a fact. It's not what I think.
Look, we are not borrowing for the main reasons. We are borrowing to pay salaries, pay senators who collect millions every month.
Exactly.
You borrow for infrastructure, you will get the money back. But we are borrowing to share.
No. See, sorry, you are mistaking what I'm saying. I'm not saying anybody should be borrowing to pay salaries. I'm saying borrow to invest. Make the economy.
We are not investing. That is the problem.
But that's
why people have the mind that they want to come and steal again.
How do you invest when the people don't want you to invest because they don't trust you to touch any kind of money?
Excuse me. To Nigeria, I think I'm going to come in here. The truth is, let's all be sincere. Let's put all sentiments aside. Our leaders have failed us woefully over the years.
Thank you.
From one government to the other, they come up, they say they are going to borrow money to do the electricity situation in Nigeria. Different governments have come up with promises, or we are going to fix, we are going to generate how many thousand kilowatts or megawatts of electricity. We need to borrow money. The Benin or Expressway that was taking lives of Nigerians for years. Every government that came into power came with that road project as a manifesto. We are going to build Benin or Expressway, but it never happened. It kept going on and on. They tell us we are going to borrow money for infrastructure. Please ask yourself, what infrastructures have they borrowed money and constructed in the country? It goes on and on. That's why Nigerians are fed up now. Say all this borrowing that you guys keep borrowing, you say you're borrowing to build this, you're borrowing to build that. We never see anything. Enough of the borrowing. That was why when the whole loan that this present administration said they're going to take loan from China to build gas pipelines, to build rail stations, a lot of people were angry, and especially because of that hidden sovereignty clause that was in that agreement, which at the end of the day, they claim they didn't see it, or they tried to explain it away. Really infuriated Nigerians and said, enough of this. Why are you always borrowing money? You keep saying you're borrowing money to do this, do that, and we never see anything. So it's not like Nigerians don't want them to invest. No, that's why we elected them. We want you to develop our country, build infrastructures that will make our lives bearable, make us comfortable as citizens, so that we can be productive and useful citizens of this country. But that's not the case. They borrow the money and spend on themselves. Let's be honest.
Okay, what do they do? See, what I'm going to say now is going to be a little bit, people are not going to be happy to hear it, because from what you just said now, you said that you want them to borrow and do all this. At the same time, you're saying they've disappointed you before. So how do you marry both sides together? What I found when I was in Nigeria is that things are terribly cheap in Nigeria, the services. are terribly cheap. If let's say a power company from the UK now wants to come to Nigeria and wants to invest and build power stations and provide 24/7 power supply, but Nigerians cannot pay for it because the bills they pay now is too cheap. It's cheaper than in Ghana, it's cheaper than in Niger Republic, it's cheaper than Benin Republic, it's cheaper than almost any part of the world. Because whenever I tell Nigerians that they need to increase price of anything to meet market rates, they'll say we don't get enough salary. As if there are no poor people in other countries. There are poor people everywhere. There are people that go to bed in the UK here with a jacket because they cannot afford to heat their house with gas. There are poor people continuously. You have to always think, what is best for my economy? How am I going to pay for these things? We don't even take tax from the people. We don't pay tax.
You think so?
Brother, please,
Yeah,
let me,
You
can
think
I
so?
come in? Can I
I
come in,
pay
please?
tax. I pay
Yes.
tax.
Can I come in, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
We
You
pay
have no,
taxes in
we have
Nigeria.
no reason to be poor. Going everywhere, the whole world, there's nowhere you will go to without seeing a Nigerian. Because these people have failed us. They have failed us. How can you tell me that people are paying more cheaper electricity in Ghana, in other places? What
More
is their
expensive.
population rate? Our population rate is almost 20 times higher than these people. And this is blessing to Nigeria. But because our government don't know how to do business, we are wasting everything, wasting our resources. If we gather our resources, now Ghana is gathering their resources, building things in Ghana. Nigeria, we are wasting our own. Did you hear that the people, this school feeding program, while students are at home, they are claiming that they are feeding people. ICPC came out and said that they discovered 2.something billion in people's account. What are you telling me tonight?
See, excuse me. You see, the thing is, there are we act as if there are no there's no corruption everywhere else. There are billions of pounds of projects that go wasted here in the UK right now as we speak. In the US, there are trillions of dollars being lost to corruption. So let's not act as if there is no corruption anywhere else. What I'm talking about is about how you can create an environment that allow businesses to come in and grow the economy. We don't even care about the government. The businesses will come in there because you know why? Because they want to make money. They will come in there, they will build roads and they will build infrastructure because they know they will make money. If they build hospital, they know they will make money. But if they buy those expensive equipments from the West, where the prices of these things are about 10, 20 times what you will ever even encounter them in Nigeria, how do Nigerians pay for it, for these services? They will not make money. Hence why they will not show up. We have to make the environment enabled for businesses to be able to flourish. And if we don't start paying our way in this world, we are not going to be able to get there. Let me explain one more point. The point is that we keep selling natural resources. That is not going to make us wealthy. The only thing that will make us wealthy is when we make something which is called added value. We add value to it and sell it. That will increase our foreign income and reduce our outgoing. You win either way.
I'm glad that you've brought that point up. But you remember clearly, maybe you were not following the campaign when Buhari was campaigning, when he said he was going to build at least one refinery every year if he's elected. He was going to first start by reviving the third redundant refinery in Kaduna. What has he done since he was elected? Nothing. We know all these things, but it goes back to the point I was saying. They have failed us. They make promises and never live up to the promises.
I'm not about what
we know that we should add value to our oil. Let there be value addition in our oil. When we explore this oil, let's refine it and sell it out instead of sending out crude oil and then importing finished products at higher
and then buy it back and then buy it back. No,
I hear that there is a refinery. I hear that there's a refinery this month.
The NNPC has been, managing our oil in the most disgraceful manner. The corruption that is going on in that sector. You think
people are waiting for that.
How many times have barrels of oil gone missing in this country? They will say we lost how many barrels of oil unaccounted? How did the oil leave the country?
I wonder.
Those are the monies that go into pockets of individuals.
Okay.
You tell me here that they don't want to develop they don't want to develop the country, and that is our frustration. There are no
It's not,
excuses for
See,
Naija,
virtue.
Say something.
Hold on,
Naija,
hold on. I need to make this point because it's quite important to what Virtue just said. You see, when we say these things, we need to check what is going on the ground. There is a refinery that is going to be opening in Nigeria, I think sometime this month. If you check it, you'll find out. There should be another one opening quite soon, probably even before we will have to, before Dangote one comes online. So there are people, I've forgotten, I think it's a modular refinery. They call it a modular refinery. You can check it online.
In,
yes, in
Yeah.
Bayelsa State.
is it Bayelsa?
Yes.
Yes,
Are these
Bayelsa.
not individuals' businesses? This is not what we
No,
are
the
talking
modular
about. We
refinery
are
is
going
government.
to pay. Is it for government?
Yes, the modular refinery is government.
Are you sure?
I think it was a vice president
check it
that
properly,
commissioned
because I heard that there are foreign investors who did that.
So if it's foreign investors, what's wrong with it? It's going to provide oil in
Because
Nigeria.
they need their money. It's not like when your federal government build refinery for you. This is even everybody. We are all waiting for Dangote refinery to come on board, but we forget that this man is a businessman.
Exactly.
He wants to get his money back.
Yeah, but you see, Hanks, you are mistaken that the whole world is different from Nigeria. The country you are in, I don't think the government owns the refineries there. I don't think the government runs anything there the way you think you are saying. You see, we set different standards for Nigeria than we set for other countries, and yet we want to be like them. You can't have it both ways.
Look,
if you
why can't you have it both ways?
Because that's not how the world works.
This is what I said from onset. I said that developing in a country is not that difficult. It is just set your mind. Who built Dubai today? In 1985, look at Dubai, the way it was. Just put your mind. Everything Nigeria we are doing is, I'm not going to live there. Let the poor people go there. That is why they will build a hut for people and call it a house. That is why if you look at our country today, how many skyscrapers do you have? Do you even have one?
Goodness, have you been to Lagos Island? Hanks, see, Hanks, chill out. Hanks, you really need to chill out. There are a lot of good Nigerians out there doing great work, including Virtue Grace. So let's not make it look like the whole Nigerians out there are not doing very well. There are a lot of Nigerians that are keeping the country going. If not, the whole system would have collapsed by now. Lagos has a population of about 20 million. There is a reason why it still exists. It would be anarchy if nobody was doing any good work. So let's not always think that everything is so bad in Nigeria, because we do a lot of disservice to the people that are really fighting day and night to do good work in Nigeria.
We want them to do extreme good work. Which country have you gone? You are in the UK. Did you see any open sewage system in the United Kingdom? That is why we get sick in Nigeria. We look. I watch a lot of programs. People say Nigeria is a stressful country. Why? Look, a country like Nigeria, the sewage system is supposed to be correct. That is a pedestrian walk through where we put gutter today. If we clean up Nigeria, that is a very, very beautiful country. Look at we look at Nigeria. If you go there, what you see in Nigeria. At times when I watch some of our YouTubers showing our environment, it's shameful. This is a rich country where people say we are not rich. That is crap. We are a rich country. This is a rich country where if we gather things together, build things you are supposed to build. A man must have a standard now. We don't have standard. We do not have standard.
Hanks, all the things you are saying are the things, my generation, they often said about Nigeria. But, you can be on an island, on a desert. Look at Israel, it's on a desert. But they are one of the richest countries there right now. It's about the way the people organize themselves. We have to start organizing ourselves the way we have to reward good people, because we always keep talking about the bad ones. We are not talking about the ones that are really doing good things. Because when I go to Nigeria, I drive on the road. I'm not walking on mud. I see buildings. I fly on an aircraft. People are doing those things. These are real good people doing a lot of good work. So let's not throw everything out and say, okay, oh, the people are useless. They don't care about doing anything right, because a lot of people putting a lot of good work in. So we have to start encouraging those ones, because I think all these things, they happen in phases. Sooner or later, the ones that are doing positive things will eclipse the ones doing negative things, and by the time you know it, we'll be on the path to recovery, full recovery, where the country will be doing a lot better for itself. And
With
for me,
with all this stealing up and
we
down, we
need,
are not
we
going to
need
recover anything, oh my brother. We have
all
to
we
tell
need.
them when it pinches. We have to tell them the truth. Not this one, everybody. When you come out, tell Nigerians, tell the rulers what they are doing. They are not leaders, they are rulers to me. But what I want to tell them is, you must have a standard. We don't have standard. Our leaders don't have standard. That's why they are building rubbish. If you Ethiopia just commissioned their new terminal. Did you see it? Did you see the way it was? The
Actually,
money they
Mr.
use
Hanks,
building
you're
it
making
is
a
not
very
up
good
to what
point.
we use.
Okay,
Eh?
Can I say
okay.
something?
Let's and
Good, good day,
to
guys. Good day,
Niger.
guys.
Thank you, man alive. Thank you. Yes, we have one person, Source God, who has joined us. So let's also hear his contribution. I'm going to mute
Um,
the rest of you. When he makes his contribution, then we can now go back and have the conversation. Add to the conversation. So welcome, Source God. Welcome. Let's have your
thank you
take.
very much, Virtue Grace. Thank you very much. I've been listening to the conversation you guys been having like for the past hour right now, and it's quite interesting. And Mr. Hanks, you have a wonderful point. Mr. Tunanja also, you have a wonderful point. But the thing is that let's the most important thing we have to do here is that we have to create value within our country. That is the most important thing. Talking about issues, talking about problems, is really not going to solve anything. Like we really have, as Mr. Hanks was like making reference to like Ethiopia. They are also like an African country and they are developing quite fast, but they also have some issues too, both infrastructure and otherwise. But like the thing is that their government have actually pays like good attention into value creation. So value creation is just the only way out in any form, way, or like it's just the only way out. That's just my opinion. And we should really stop about the whole tribalistic thing in Nigeria, all this like fight against like houses, Igbos, or whatever. Like we should stop being myopic minded. We should really like take that off and we should really focus about building our country and then moving forward. That's all. We've actually taken a step, right? At least now SARS is gone, but the most important thing is what's next. Okay, at least this is step one. We need to move on to step two. Maybe we'll have to like make our government more accountable. We have to bring in like some systems in which we can see, okay, here, this is how much we are making as a country, and this is where the money is actually going to. Because like if you go to like a lot of developed countries, a whole lot of developed countries, people really working in government don't earn that much in comparison to what they earn in Nigeria. Like, for example, what our senators earn. So like we need to also like find a way to create a very good system by which like the whole country is accountable from like the number one person to like the least person on the street. So that's just what I want to say.
All right.
Can
Thank you very much.
I say something?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
one thing as well I wanted to say is that the fact that everything you guys go through, we also as Congolese, Angolan, we go through. Even I think Congo is even the worst one. We get been. I don't know if you guys been going listening to what's going on in Congo with the politics, with killing, stealing, killing, raping young children, babies, elderly, women, and stuff. I think we also go through that a lot, and where police brutality is really a problem in Congo and in Angola as well. Like, and one thing I just want to say is that I feel like we should come together as nation, as a continent, not only Nigeria but as a continent, to fight these things, and to actually force our leaders to change the way they see us, and also they try to change the way that the way they steal money, especially money stealing and stuff, where young people are crossing Europe, Libya and stuff, just to come and better themselves here, and some of them are dying, and we need to change that. Not only Nigeria, I think the whole Africa. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you so much, Ines. Thank you for that. And I think this goes back to what I said earlier, that the actions that youth in Nigeria are taking now is just a message to the rest of Africa that we all should mobilize. We have the power as young people to change the narratives of the continent. If one part of Africa is fine and the other is not fine, then it affects all of us. So it's actions that we need to take across the continent to force the change we want to see to happen. So thanks, Ines, for the contribution. Yeah, who wants to say something? Okay, man alive, go on.
Okay, I understand Two Niger's optimism. I also understand Hank's concern because Hanks is talking about all the promises, all the things that they say they are going to do in Nigeria that's not, taking place. And on the other hand, Two Niger is bringing up the optimism that talking about, in optimistic tone and how things should be in Nigeria. Now, I think like he was saying something about adding value to our products. You said something earlier about taking crude oil outside of Nigeria, refining it and bringing it back. Now, in Nigeria, we have the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. That should be the place whereby if you want to take yam from Nigeria to abroad, it should pass through them, it should pass through quality control. If you want to take oil, red oil, whatever, anything you want to add value to Nigeria to sell it abroad. Because right now, even though some people are hungry in Nigeria produces more food than it needs. We can now start take our minds away from crude oil. Let crude oil do it. So let Nigerians themselves add value to what they produce and send abroad. Meanwhile, we need an organization like the Nigerian Export Promotion that comes up with directives that say, okay, these are the things that you can export to so and so country. You have to add value to this percentage, to this level before you can take it. Encourage people to, come up to export, encourage people to invest, encourage people that live abroad that will have things in Nigeria that want to, export those things abroad. We need change in Nigerian system. Nigeria can work, but we need people that understand that the importance of things moving forward. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
can I say something? Yeah, like the same thing is my point. So as I said, value creation, it might not just be like value creation based on like raw products alone. Value creation can be in like reforming the educational system. Like for example, let's take for example countries like Norway. Okay, the educational system is one of the best on the planet, if not the best. It's arguable, and they produce a lot of like wonderful individuals, and they don't really have to leave their country. They have like a very very like dynamic and very symbiotic like value system that everything they need is within their country, and whatever like they produce in their country is being used in their country, and whatever they can export and get more they can actually export. For example, let's look at a country like our country. Like for example, I think most of us here are Nigerians, right? We actually, our value creation is, we do create value, but like we create value and then we just lose it in every shape form, like both in natural resources. We have petroleum, we just like export it raw. Like even countries like Ghana, they have gold or cocoa, they just like export it raw. They have no chocolate factories. This is it was We make very good medical doctors within Nigeria, and then they all end up going to work in Canada or the US, paying taxes to either the US, Canada, or even the British government, adding value to those countries and reducing value in Nigeria. I was watching a video once, a couple of months back, where I think it was a minister or like a senator or something was saying that it's good for doctors to actually leave Nigeria because they provide easy foreign exchange. You can imagine people who are actually placed in leadership positions that don't even understand how economics works, that don't even understand that we are in a war. Like the world is not free. Like wherever like people say, okay, we are living in a free world, is democratic. Like based on like real grounds, like we are always at war, be it economically, be it in every way, form, and like in every, we're always at war. But it is that we have people in government that don't know about this. They are playing like ignorant to the facts, and they just keep, they think that they are maybe like, how would I put it? Let me say like in Pidgin, they say maybe enjoying life by taking resources from your own country, going abroad, having the best medical health care, but instead you're actually killing yourself and killing your country. Because like at the end of the day, when you take all these resources out of your country, be it human resources or actually like natural resources, you're like killing your country. And at the end of the day, like you and your kids are not going to benefit in any way, shape, or form. Okay, let's say your kids become, let me say, American citizens or British citizens, and then 1 or 2 generations down the line, one of them is going to be shot on the street by a white cop, and then they'll talk about Black Lives Matters. Like, guys, we should really think about all this stuff. We should find a way to create like environments in which we should think about our kids when we are doing it, and our grandchildren, so that we'll say, okay, look, what I'm doing today, I want my kids and my grandkids to be able to live in a very good environment where they don't have to worry about maybe the cop shooting them, or maybe the country is not having money or anything like that. But we should actually look for leaders that have these qualities, and then put them in the position to actually lead us to the place we want to be. Because like if we're just electing leaders with no vision, leaders that are just greedy, they're just going there because they want power and they don't really want to lead us. They just like, for example, like I don't really want to talk like directly or like bashing. Let's take like from leaders from the past, like Abacha. Okay. I did some research, I read some like papers and some articles. Like we've actually seen the amount of loot he actually stole. And till today we are still getting money from what he stole years back, which is like adjusted with inflation and all that. Just imagine, like, if that money was actually used to create value, even if it's just in the educational system alone, even if it's just maybe just let's just say just in our military sector, okay, we created like in every single state in Nigeria, but maybe say like including the Federal Capital Territory, we have like one military high school that is training special like forces agents or whatever. Do you know how powerful it would be like based on military alone? Not to talk of like various aspects we can create value. So that is what I'm just gonna say. Like value creation is the most important thing. We really need to stop talking about any other thing. Like let's put good leaders that can actually create real value, not just like values based on what we have like naturally, but like also like the people and all that. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Can I just
All
say
right.
something
Thank
as well?
you so much. Okay, Ines, quickly then we have Aunt Flo waiting on the panel as well. So Ines, you have the floor. Two
Yeah, what
minutes.
thing that I also want to say is that our leaders, not only our leaders, also is just us as well, African of every single continent. We need to stop that mentality that of cheap thinking that everyone will come and do the work for us. That's the mentality that we have, that every person, every race is our, every single person from different race is our friend. No one is our friend, boo boo. No one. We have what we have. We have, we the black people, we only have us. So nothing, no one will ever come and clean our house. We have to clean our house our own. We have to clean it by ourselves. And also one thing that I also want to say from not only Nigerian but across Africa is that we need leaders, young people to be in this to be in this, you know, how could I say, in those government, you know, system, because they don't understand that we also have what can I say, they need to give young people the chance. They don't give. It's always like it's always the 40s, those men, and also women in the power as well. Like we don't have that. It's always the old men, the eldest ones, and they don't understand anything. They go to school, but they don't even understand about economy and finance and stuff. We need young leaders. We need uh women as well, just to lead. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thanks, Ines. Aunt Flo, you have the floor. Welcome. If you can hear me.
Hi, how are you? Better picking.
Fine,
Ines,
thank
can you
you.
hear? Ines, can you hear me? Bonico,
Oh,
how are you
bien,
doing?
ça va? I'm good, thank you,
Well,
Auntie.
anyway, so I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing, like Africans, especially Nigerians, curse their country all the time. It's almost like you're saying God made a mistake giving birth to you in Nigeria, really. And I mean, with the Black Lives Matter type of thing, it's not very good advertising. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I was listening to Hanks, and yes, he's impassioned about, Nigeria. He's disappointed about certain things. A lot of us are disappointed about certain things, but some African countries are changing the narrative. So at the end of the day, you forget about natural mineral resources. Why should we forget about those? God did not actually place them there for decoration, did he? The only problem with natural resources is that because Nigeria particularly has a whole load of oil, it has attracted corruption. But if you had good leaders who could, instead of exchanging oil for money, could actually exchange it for the natural resources of another foreign country, i.e., for instance, Germans are very well renowned for their engineering. And Nigeria has a lot of problems with the infrastructure. So why can you not sell the petrol to Germany, for instance, for the sake of argument? It's called bartering. They used to do that back in the days before money was created.
Wonderful.
Okay?
Wonderful point.
So you actually offer your oil, for their engineers, because they have the knowledge to come and build something in your country. I mean, who builds a house? I mean, look at Lekki. People pay millions of pounds to go and live in that place, but that place gets flooded when it rains. It's weird. It's weird. I mean, you have snakes, you have all sorts of things coming there. Your house is worth nothing at the end of the day after you've invested millions in it. It's ridiculous. Who are the engineers, the civil engineers who built those houses? Because, I mean, if you were well-educated civil engineers, you would have known that Lekki being very close to the water, if you build certain types of houses, you are actually killing the owner of that house. You're actually killing the insurance companies, building something so stupidly. There are ways to build, properties around water that prevents them from being flooded. There are ways to build roads, that lets them be solid for the next 5 to 10 years without people having to come and dig or sending the Chinese to come and do dodgy work. Did you see the airport in Pakistan that was built by the Chinese? Under COVID, the roof started falling on people. What does that tell you? Yes, I want the best for Africa, but at the end of the day, we don't have good leaders. Let's be honest. Our leaders are shite. They are. You understand? These are people who are 60, 70. You can't even speak to them. They don't even know much about the internet except maybe to do Facebook and Instagram. And apart from that, they're not very forward thinking. But Africa can resolve its own problems. Because, I mean, if Kagame could look at diamonds and see what diamonds are worth to white people on their stock market and then put up the price of diamonds, which are their natural mineral resources, to build the country, which was one of the poorest in Africa, to what it is today, where people earn an average of $19,500 per annum, then maybe we could move forward. But the first thing you need to do with all this nonsense of Black Lives Matter, because it was mostly white people there, I didn't see that many black people there, to be very honest, talk well about your country. Yeah, there are problems in Africa, but guess what? Life, the standard of living in Africa with a little bit of money is actually much better than the standard of living in Europe. Let's not lie to each other, because if Africa was so shizer, like some of you keep advertising to white people, and then you complain when white people treat you like trash outside, it's because of what you say with your mouth. It's like you're cursing your country, and at the same time you expect a blessing. How can it be? How can it be?
Can I say something?
Excuse me, I'm finishing. Excuse me. Yeah? How can you curse your own land and then you expect white people to come and respect you? Come on now. Because, I mean, if Africa was that bad, why is it that there's over 20 million white people living in Africa? It's because they can't afford the standard of life that they would have in Africa, in their own country, because the standard of living is too expensive. You people need to stop that. Hanks, instead of seeing the dark side of things, you really need to see the light. There are possibilities. How do you know that things are not changing? In the Chad alone, they've employed some younger people inside the politics. They have. They've brought women and everything else. So if Africa change does not happen overnight, it happens slowly. You understand? You cannot plant a seed and wake up tomorrow and see it germinate. It is not possible. So, I mean, you really have to have patience. You are not the only ones who are disappointed in certain of the things that go on in Africa, not just Nigeria. People always keep, every time we talk about Nigeria, people are going, corruption, this, corruption, that. Do you know how much the Chinese corruption alone was, even under COVID, after they killed their own people with COVID-19? Some ministers were found to have 450 billion, okay, Chinese dollars in a bedroom because they couldn't bank it in case they got caught for corruption. Have we ever caught any of our leaders surpass that sort of amount of money? No, we haven't. No, we haven't. But yes, we have caught some corrupt ones. India is more corrupt than Nigeria. So why is it that people always want to curse Nigeria? What is it? What is it? I mean, governments do not help economies. If you have studied economics, you should know that governments, I have never improved the economy of their countries. They can assist to improve it by helping businesses to come in. But the problem with that too in Nigeria, we know that people want backhanders. When a company comes with a great idea, a minister you're talking to wants a backhander before he can pass the paper through. That is not the way to do business. If you really want the best for your country, you need to be a true patriot. That's the problem that Africa has. A lot of our leaders are not true patriots. That's it.
All right, thank you. Malala,
let me say this. Just 1 minute. Just one. I think Nigerians and Africans, nobody really wants to talk bad about their country because it's a sport. Nobody wants to come online and because it's easy to say bad things. Some Africans, most of us, that we talk about things that affect us, maybe we're affected by corruption. Maybe most of us that come from areas that produce oil, we go back to our villages, we don't have roads. We cannot plant, we cannot fish in our waters because it has been destroyed by oil companies. So when we say these things, we're not saying it because we hate our country. We're not saying this because we don't like other Nigerians. We are saying it because these are opportunities being taken away from us. So I don't think it's okay to say we should not talk about things that affect us. If you go to Nigeria right now, they say Nigeria is the giant of Africa. But if you go, fine, things are working in some places, but there are other places that, let's say in Lagos, you want to travel from Ikeja to Victoria Island. It should take you 35 minutes. But sometimes it takes you 5 to 6 hours sitting in traffic. Why? Because we don't have town planning. We don't have enough bridges to go over the to take you to VI. We don't have all these things. So when we Nigerians come online to talk about the problems we have, it's not because we hate our country or we love our country and we demand. Right now, what we are doing now, we are demanding. We are demanding for better governance. We are demanding for things to change. We are tired of the same thing, same old. That's why we are asking for new leaders, people with new ideas, people that can move the country forward. If as at today, as at now, you think that Nigeria is okay where it is, I don't know where you are. If you think Nigeria is comfortable where it is, I don't understand what your idea is. We need to go forward. We need to move forward. So please, I want you to understand, when you see Nigerians gather together, talk about things, we don't hate our countries. We love our countries. We have our people, family, and everybody there. We want to talk about things that affect us.
Okay, so
go ahead, Virtue.
All right, thank you. Yes, to Niger.
Yeah, about what Flo said, I think I agree with her just 100% because I think I have been saying this.
Okay, to Niger is not up.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Go on.
I say I agree with Flo 100% because what she said is quite important and it's quite unique to Nigerians that we come online and really lay into the country. We lay into the country. You see, complaining is one thing, but when you do it in public, it's like a parent going out and keep shouting about their own children. You are setting certain things out for yourself. Words matter. When you go out there and you keep saying certain things repeatedly over and over again, you are creating a reality for yourself that people can take advantage of. Like everything she said about creating value, I've stated all those things already. And about the enabling environment that the other gentleman mentioned, I think Source God mentioned, the enabling environment. There was a bill this year they were looking to pass about hate speech. And Nigerians went up in arms about hate speech, but yet they envy it in the West. Why would you not have hate speech in a country with 200 and something tribes with 500 languages? You have to have a way of preventing people from dividing each other. This is one of the reasons why Nigeria seems to be in chaos all the time, because it's easy to divide us. And if you don't kind of clip the tongues of the leaders, it's not for the people. I don't think it's for ordinary people. It's mostly for the leaders to stop them from being divisive, because everything they say, they couch it in division to say it's tribalistic. That guy is because it's Hausa. The other guy is because it's Igbo. The other guy, that is what leads to some of all this anarchy we have in the country. Nigeria has a lot of potential, but we have to start putting these building blocks in place. And I see the benefit of having a hate speech law in place. You have to have it. If any country needs it, it's Nigeria. 500 languages in one country. We need such laws. You put that in place, then about the added value that the source mentioned. Can you imagine? You buy, let's say from Ghana, you buy cocoa for $10. You take it to Germany or Switzerland, you turn it to chocolate and Swiss chocolate, and they come and sell it to you for $25. Who has just lost money? They didn't even buy it. You just lost money. This is the kind of, we have to start thinking from the point of view of, if we don't, we have to invest in our economies, and we should not prevent our leaders when, okay, I take it, we have corrupt leaders, but focus on preventing the corruption then. Tell them to start looking for contracts. Let's say you want to give a German company to build a road. You make it so that the leaders don't see the money. The money goes straight from taxpayers, straight from the oil seeds to the Germans. And if the Germans don't do their job, you take them to international court. And they will make sure the job is done. And they will destroy their reputation anyway. No multinational company wants to build something and find that they didn't do it well. They will destroy the company. So you do it that way. There are ways to build the infrastructure without corruption. And if I'm not mistaken, this government even tried to do that.
I wanna make a little additional statement here regarding to what Tunanja said regarding corruption. Okay, when we say corruption in Nigeria or Africa, I kind of laugh because I've I pretty much grew up majority of my life in Nigeria, and I've been to a couple of countries. I've been in situations where I've actually studied a lot of stuff in regards to systems and how they work. The thing is that every single country out there is corrupt. I'm gonna give you an example. Las Vegas, right? In the United States, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's one of the most corrupt places in the world. And it's like a whole city built, the whole economy of Vegas is built on the back of corrupt money. They say drugs, for example, cocaine and all this illicit drugs are illegal in the US, but they have a lot of drug dealers. So this is what they do, is that the drug dealers, right? They come in, they go to these casinos. They have the so-called owners of the casinos, and then whatever profit they make, they give maybe the owners of the casino some percentage, and all they have to do is they just have to put it in paper that, okay, whoa, we got this money, we want this money, because we did this this bet or whatever. So that is how the whole economy of Vegas was created. The problem with Africans is that we like to do things, I don't really want to say foolishly, but when we are doing things, we don't know how to put it under code. Look, we can still be corrupt, okay, but we have to find a way to put it systematically corrupt, in a way that those who are corrupt We don't have to steal from each other, but we still have to make them, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is money. Because money, like, is not everything, but like money is the only thing people keep account of. And the more money a country has, or the more money a country seems to have, the more powerful that country is. We have to find a way to, like, even if we have a lot of corrupt, for example, we have a lot of guys into like internet fraud and all this stuff. If we have a place in Nigeria like Vegas, okay, where all these guys can come and, I don't want to really say like launder, but like kind of like prove how they got the money. Do you know how much easier it will be for our economy to grow? Those guys will be able to like establish so-called industries. Those guys will be the ones to be, because like we need, at the end of the day, like, we talk about building this, building factories. Look, governments, okay, their job is just to create systems. Their job is just create a railway, create roads. Countries are built by people. The United States was built by industries. Industrial, even China today is, China was in the 60s and the 70s, China was worse than where Nigeria is right now. Was way, way worse. But how did China grow up? They created special economic zones. First of all, they started experimenting with like Hong Kong. Then they went to Singapore. Then it did very well. And then they like they took it to the mainland, to like Shenzhen, Beijing, and other parts, like in the other like provinces in China. And look at how many cities sprouted out. And I'm telling you, it's not all that money that is fully legal. It can be. It's impossible. The same thing with the US, the same thing with the UK, the same thing in everywhere. People like back then in the UK, they came to like, for example, the UK is like the British. They came to Nigeria, they stole tons of money. Like colonization, if you study history, was a big business. It wasn't countries colonizing, it was industries colonizing countries. It was a huge business because they were taking resources in and out. And how did they prove those? They came back to the UK and they found systems in which they can make sure that money they are taking illegally became legal money. So that is all we have to do. We just have to just find a way to make our, even if it's illegal money or legal money, make sure we have enough money in the country and less money moving out of our country. Then through that we can be able to like build our own industry. We can form conglomerates of like investment groups, and then from there, for example, we have a cocoa farm. The cocoa farmer will just take it. The government does like a very good road. They can take it the cocoa from like the rural area to like a major city or like an industrial city, and then we can have a factory there where we can manufacture chocolates, and we can then export it. Or we can even like there's a whole lot of things, like we have bitumen, we have there's a whole lot of stores we have, like, for I don't know about other African countries because I'm Nigerian. Okay, I'm in Nigeria. I don't know how many resources other countries have, but I've been to Ghana and I know they have a lot of gold, and yet they can't even peg that gold to their own currency. Like, we just look, value creation is what we lack. Okay, number one, we have to stop snitching on each other because we only have each other. Cover each other's, I don't want to curse because I'm on live on YouTube, but I just got to say, cover each other's mistakes or cover each other's asses, and then through that we can all build together. It's simple. We're making things seem so complex. It is not complex. It is quite simple. Just find a way to create value, but I don't know, anyhow possible. Because at the end of the day, we cannot do anything on this planet without money. If we want to build a huge car industry, that we have to start exporting innocent cars worldwide, we have to first of all have a very good steel plant that manufactures good parts. We have to have those into tech that are manufacturing, let me say, like using our like silicon or whatever to manage a lot of things. Because there's a lot of things, a lot of components that have to come together to make a vehicle. We are actually doing well, like as a country, with like how shitty it is. Because like, let's just be honest, okay? I'm not the one to bash Nigeria. I'm a patriot. I love Nigeria. But to be honest with you, the way we do things sometimes are kind of shitty. We have to find a way to make sure things are well structured and try to make sure everything is being covered. That even though any international body or whatever want to do some investigation, we can have proof that, oh, okay, this comes from here, this comes from there, and then they have to dig deep and deep and deep. And the more someone digs, no matter who you are, man, you're gonna be tired. I don't care if you're the FBI, whatever. I don't care. No matter how deep you dig and you continue to dig, and you see that where you're digging is so deep that there's no end, you're gonna end up quitting and then just stop. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, let me just
All
add one
right.
quick point on that one. Sorry, Virtue, please let me just add just one quick point on that, because Source God said something about how to get these things done. I think it's relatively quite simple. My own physical experience that I had in Nigeria, like I paid. There was a bill that was sent to me just for last month for 6,000 naira for a 4-bedroom house, completely fenced, and God knows how much electricity we use. For 6,000 naira, that is 12 pounds. Are we living in a parallel universe? Are we not using the same electricity that they are using here? Is the electrons any different? This is why we have to, like they said, it's not about government building industries or increasing wages. It is creating an enabling environment. And I fear that Nigerian government is so scared of the people that whenever they try to raise price of electricity, all hell breaks loose. They raise price of fuel, all hell breaks loose. And this is why they always do things halfway, because their plan was to get all these things to normal prices that the nation can afford, and the people, the investors, can be able to come in and actually invest in producing this in power for us. By now, we would have had 24/7 power supply. So the point is, how do you get from here, where we are not paying as much as most parts of the world, to where we can start?
So like that, very good point. Like, okay, let's look at it like a business perspective. Let's say you're an international businessman, okay? You're into like power generation. Let's say countries like Lebanon pay like, let me say, $60 for like per kilowatt, okay? Like let's say almost every country in the world pays like $60, or let's say 60 cents, right? But we in Nigeria are paying like something like 10 cents. Would you invest in a country? Look at it from a business perspective. Would you, as someone that wants to generate power to make income as a business person, invest in a country that you're going to get 10 cents per kilowatt?
You will not make profit, so you will never even think about it. And this is the biggest problem.
That is a major problem. And secondly, like Nigerians always complain that we borrow money. Oh my God. Like I was talking to a couple of my friends, okay, Nigerians, right? I told them that we actually, based on our GDP to debt ratio, one of the lowest in terms of our population. Our people are so scared about borrowing money so much that, oh my God, like we're like 37% to GDP. Like countries like Japan, which is like one of the most developed countries on this planet, is like over 200%. The United States is like over $20 trillion in debt. And yet we are complaining in Nigeria. It's like we just want to have everything for free. I don't really get it. Like, oh my God.
It's because they don't understand how these things generally balance out. They look at their daily lives and say, okay, we need something to be easier for us. And I understand that instinct. If I was in Nigeria, I probably would be saying the same thing. But if because I've experienced it here, I've seen that, that this in 12 pounds, equivalent of 12 pounds bill that I got for last month, will be 200 pounds here. That is almost 20 times. There are poor people in the UK, So if we don't start understanding the dynamics of how international this in finance works, how things balance out, we are going to remain in a hole. You can't be investing.
Do you know why we still have this problem?
Why the net? Sorry,
let me make this point. It's my first point I made. Like, it's still because we lack education. Okay, like we only think that Nigeria is the whole world. Most Nigerians think like that. They don't know there are places like, there are like over, I think, 150 something countries on this planet. And most Nigerians in Nigeria, right? Even some outside of Nigeria, they leave Nigeria, but they still go to Nigeria in the UK, Nigeria in the US, or Nigeria in wherever, because they don't really like immerse themselves in the society and really understand how the world works. Because if a lot of Nigerians tend to like educate themselves on how the world works, they will understand how things work and things will be better.
The thing is, it's about leadership, isn't it? And I think Nigeria, one good thing I see in Nigeria today is that they are beginning to recognize good leadership. They are beginning to see that some leaders are better than others. And with any luck, we are going to, the good ones are going to rise up and be made president the next time coming. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for that. If I'm there, I'm going to, campaign, as Grace was talking, that, we try to put out, we have to try to get the good ones.
I want to, the problem is not about having good leaders. Okay, like we need good leaders, but like if the people don't know that those leaders are good, how will they elect them? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to election, right? It's not selection.
My point is that these leaders are actually functional right now. They are governors, they are ministers, they are doing things on the ground right now. So if they have a record to go by. So if these people understand that these people are already good anyway, look at what they've done for their states. They can do it for Nigeria. So why not elect them to become president? And if this will become president, they will be able to educate Nigerians on all these things. If a leader comes to tell the Nigerians, if we have to chew grass to get to where we need to get to the promised land, Nigerians will accept it as long as they believe that leader.
Nigerians will not accept it. Nigerians will not. To Nigeria, be serious. Nigerians will not. They will not. Look at what is happening right now. We stop importation of rice. I want to say something. We stop importation of rice, right? Look, I was born in Katsina. I'm from Katsina State. Look, Buhari is also from Katsina, right? When he actually started this, like when he was elected, I was still back then still in Nigeria, and he immediately stopped like smuggling. Like one of the richest guys in like Nigeria illegally. His name is Dario Manga. He's the biggest smuggler in West Africa. He smuggles rice into Nigeria from like Malaysia, like pretty much all over the planet. I don't know how he does it. And he stopped all this stuff because like he knew that doing this is only going to kill us and enrich other countries. He did it, but like the people then hate him. He got like huge resentment, and that's because they don't understand. They are complaining that, oh, we are not producing enough rice. Look, we are producing like almost even in Kebbi State and Ebonyi State alone, the rice they are producing is enough to feed the whole Nigeria. But the problem is that nobody in Nigeria understands this. And again, the powers that be, especially the corrupt powers, there is no system that has been able to filter their money that they got illegally or whatever to make it seem legal so they can even do something better. So because of this reason, they are now fighting a government that is trying to help people. That is the main problem. Like we are fighting each other. But look, like for example, the guys that import rice, let's say generators and all this stuff, they are not gonna allow us have constant electricity. Okay, even though because trust me, those guys, they know how economics works in the world, because they are for you to be able to make money both legally or illegally, you have to be a genius. You have to understand how economics work worldwide. So this is what they do. They know that, okay, doing this is going to put the country in the right way, but because of that, they are going to be hungry right now. They will not be able to send their kids to a better school, or maybe send their mom to have a better medical treatment, or their dad or grandparents or whatever. So because of that, because they are taking food from their plates, and there is no way they can make that food on their plates to make it seem kind of good, so that they can maybe invest it in something good, because EFCC is there. And the way, look, EFCC stands on, they work like the same foolish jungle justice. They will just rush and close somebody's house. And what is this? Sometimes they'll just go. I was in Katsina, like my neighbor, right? I don't know what he was doing, but I remember EFCC. That was the first time I actually saw EFCC officials in my life. They came. This man was like, hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, good. This man was like really rich. Like, oh my God, he had like crazy cars, like Navigators, Lincoln Navigator, like back in 2006 or 7, like crazy cars. And they just came to his house. They sealed his house. I think they found like over, is this $600,000 or like something like that. And then he just packed up and he just ran to Saudi Arabia. This is also is a genius that was able to create wealth. He was poor and he was able to create wealth, even though it wasn't legally, but all the way to that level. But look at the kind of force we have that can't even cooperate with your own fucking brother to make, sorry for cursing, to make things better and make sure he can even use the money and empower in one way or the other. Instead, they wanted to close down everything and take the person down to ground zero. Like, how can you do this? He has kids. He has a mother to take care of.
Hold on. I think we are mixing two things together. You know, there's still one part that is corruption and one part is capital flight. Capital flight is where the real damage is done. People may not understand this. If somebody steals money and uses it to build a house, a carpenter has to work on that house, a bricklayer has to work on that house. The economy flows. Where the real damage is done, that the money is taken out of the system and put overseas. So that is on one side. From the point I wanted to make was that if we are looking at moving forward, because I'm not the kind of person that like to dwell on whether we have problems. I prefer to look at how to move forward. I believe Nigerians are primed to have good leadership soon, and if they have a good leadership, the leader just needs to spell out. The reason why they will believe the leader is not because they are just having faith in that leader, because they know the leader has done something similar before. That, like I said, these leaders are governors today. They are ministers today. So the leaders will tell them, these are the things that are required to be done. If you want to survive as a country, if you want to survive as a people, Africa is facing a lot of threats. We are talking about Nigeria right now, but Africa as a whole is facing a lot of threats. If this leader starts highlighting this, I believe people, not just Nigerians, will chew grass if they have to get to the other end. As long as they will
But
survive and their
are
children,
they
their
willing
future
to?
will survive, they
Are they
will.
willing to? They are
All
not. Look,
this is
look at
all
what is happening right now. Look at what is happening right now. Like, I'm just talking about rice alone. Look at how the price is skyrocketing because some individuals that are importing rice are trying. They are just manipulating the whole stuff because they still hold the supply chain. Let's just be factual. They still
see
hold the supply chain,
see we
and
are
look at what they are doing to frustrate the populace.
See, one of the things I am not very happy about is every time we say there's a cabal somewhere doing this, there's a generator cabal. I'm not seeing an Igbo organization that organizes to have a cabal to import generators before. The truth is, people do those things exist because there's a vacuum for them to exist. If personally, if I was somebody advising ministers, I would say, shut down first. The first thing you want to do is ban generators in estates. Let them have only one. No individual generators in estates. That's one of the first ways you can start rolling them back. In marketplaces, ban major generators. There has to be only one. You can start rolling these things back, and it's quite simple and it's beneficial. The people will like it, but nobody bothers to do that. It's because nobody's thinking clearly about what is on the ground. Because when I go to Nigeria, you see every shop has generator. They are all blaring all over the place. Yeah, when there is power outage in an estate, everybody turns their generator on. What is that? There is no point of that. If the government says, hey, every market, one generator, every estate, one generator, you can't be having generators all over the place. Let's see what that small Igbo man that is this an important generator from China is going to do about that. There are industries that disappear while others replace them. There was a typewriter company before Microsoft Word came along. There was this record sales company before Apple started selling music. One industry goes, another one comes. It just takes imaginative
It takes
thinking.
time.
Yeah.
But the thing is that people are not patient enough, and people don't really understand that. I'm still gonna boil down to my rice analogy. Okay, like we are trying so hard. Oh my God, we are trying so hard in producing it, but like there are some people just cutting it off, and it's just causing so much problem in the country. Like rice is what Nigerians consume on a normal day, like in pretty much every occasion, be it burial, weddings, or whatever. And that is like, and look at the situation right now. I heard that the price of rice is like 36,000 naira, and the minimum wage is like 30,000. That's like 6,000 naira more than the regular, like the minimum wage. And we are trying to produce more rice. Like in Ebonyi State alone, Kebbi State too produces like, oh my God, so much tons of rice that can actually feed the entire country. But like it's not getting out, and one of the reasons it's not getting out because of, okay, yeah, we have, let's be honest, we have bad infrastructure, but we're like improving on it, like compared to like other African countries. But we still need to work harder. That is just the truth.
That
I
is the
want
point.
Yes.
That is the
I want to say one thing. I actually support you on that because Africa does produce a whole load of rice. But that's why I said that governments can come in to assist because we could export that outside. Africa is actually the breadbasket of the world because it has the capability of growing everything that even Europe needs to eat. You see, but the problem is with a lot of African leaders was that they concentrated on black gold, which is oil. A lot of people in the comments I noticed keep talking about neo-colonialism and all this nonsense. At the end of the day, let me tell you something. When God created human beings, he did not create them to live independently of each other. He actually created them so that they are all linked. So at the end of the day, Africa may have natural resources, and yes, some people have their eye on it. But if we didn't have out leaders, okay, like what happened in Mali, where they actually had a coup to remove the president who was selling out to France, then maybe Africa would be a better place. You cannot talk to me about neo-colonialism when okay? Because I could tell you about the Kush army, I could tell you about African economy, I could tell you about who educated Homer, okay, Socrates, and all these other people. You do not know my standard of education, so I would beg you that when you're making comments, okay, in the comment place, try and respect people, not disrespect them, okay? Because it was actually Africans in Timbuktu who actually educated Socrates and Homer and St. Clemens, okay? There are books that are recorded saying that. Do you understand? When you go to Peru, you will see caves that show that the first mariners in the world were black people. Okay, so I'm aware of my race, my culture, my background, where I come from, and what my ancestors have done for the world. I'm also aware that Western people have lied about our history, unlike some of you understand? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to fight over something. It has happened. Right now, I'm only interested in the growth of my continent. I don't care about the West. But one thing that the West does have that can help us, and their natural mineral resources are, they've got the internet, they've got engineering, okay, those are their natural mineral resources, because they have the education, they have done it, they have proved that it works. We have educated black people who went to the West to go and study. But the problem is they don't come back home to use their skills because we underpay them. That's the problem with Africa. So right now, a whole lot of us who have had the education and the expertise from the West will come back home to set up businesses, we will all save our respective countries. Right now, as we sit and stand, okay, in the West, the people who work in the West and send money back home can actually buy Nigeria out of debt. I will have you know that's true economic fact. We can actually buy Nigeria out of debt. But the thing is, we don't run the government. So we have to let our government sort themselves out from the mess that they created and hope and pray that we can actually depose these leaders to get better leaders. The problem with a lot of African countries is that they don't have patriots. But if you look at countries like Rwanda, where Kagame is a true patriot who got educated abroad and came back with that knowledge to save his people and his economies, then our other leaders can learn that as well. In the 70s and the 80s, Nigeria beat the dollar and the pound on the stock market. So for me, as I sit right here in the UK, I believe that if it was done once, it can be done again. Okay? These people are all they decrepit. Some of them are about to die. Anyway, so who cares? But let's find the solution to the problem. Let's not keep moaning about it because everybody is a critic, but nobody is doing anything about it. Yeah, all of you who are complaining in the comments there, are you planning to come home to set up businesses to help the country? Are you? Because if we were to employ our own people with our skills, we would actually save our own economies. That's how Africa can save itself.
Exactly. We have to come there and invest. Most of anybody that wants to criticize Nigeria, if you haven't invested and you're overseas, might as well keep your mouth shut. Because I have invested in Nigeria and I'm paying people right now on the ground there. So when people want to start criticizing Nigeria from overseas because they are not putting their money where their mouth is, you better do that before you start going online and ranting about the country. Because I think was it Lumejo that said that Nigerians that go over online to go and rant about Nigeria should be considered traitors. Because this is not a Nigerian. This is an African American that feels so pained by Nigerians doing this that I said they should be considered traitors. Because we can't keep complaining. We have to actually go in there and get things done. Because I know
there are people. Yeah. To Niger, let me talk, please. You people are just
okay. Sorry,
people don't know.
We have Mike.
You are talking about Nigeria. You don't know Nigeria. You are talking about
let's give Mike the opportunity to also speak. Then we go back to everybody. So Mike, you're welcome. Let's have your opinion.
Hey,
the conversation started with the victory we are celebrating with the end Sars the Nigerian youth demanded of the federal government. This evening, the Inspector General of Police released a had a live broadcast addressing the country that Sars has been disbanded or dissolved, ended, whatever adjective you want to use to describe it. So we are saying, what next? what's the next step? And that's where the conversation has led us to. A lot of these things you are talking about, all is what next are we going to do to address the issues we have in our country. We've been complaining for years, and by dint of faith, Nigerian youth have risen, demanded first of all for SARS to end, and that has actually been heeded by the authorities. So we are saying, what next can we do to improve our country? I'm happy that we are beginning to have this conversation. This sort of mobilization has never happened before. I just went on Instagram a while ago now. I saw that Davido is going to meet with the Inspector General of Police, and he has asked for his other celebrity colleagues to try and make it to Abuja tomorrow, because they are meeting with the IGP by 10. So they should join him so that, they can have this conversation. I've also seen the request that the Nigerian youth are demanding of the Inspector General of Police to
She's frozen.
Yeah, she's frozen. She's frozen.
Okay, she should be back in a moment.
So,
Anyway.
so to Niger, please just hold on, please.
All right,
You know what I want to tell you?
go ahead.
You said you are on ground in Nigeria. Do you know that our leaders have lost the virtue part of their brain?
Okay. Yes. So the conversation is really gathering momentum.
Okay, let me
We
just
are more awakened now. So, Mike, you have the floor.
Okay. Like you rightly said, the conversation is very necessary. It's very, very necessary. The youth, what they did today kind of tells you one thing. We kind of form the basis of the main point I'm trying to make here. The youth did something they've never done before. They came together and they told the government what they want. And the government said, okay, we're doing it. You guys can come together and demand. Okay, we'll do it. That tells you that, hey, there's so many things that needs to be done where we require the people to come together and demand it. In the West, the way government get things done is when the people demand it. You understand? So that's the way it works. So that's just one point. Now, where I'm going here is this. In philosophy, they tell you one thing. They say, in order to change your situation, you have to change the way you think. And Einstein also said one thing. He said, if you doing things the same way over and over and over, and you expect a different outcome, that's insanity. So what's going on in Africa is this. I listened to my brother too, Nigeria, and the brother is very brilliant, man. He's very brilliant. The thing he's saying and the other brother arguing against what he's saying, I get what the other brother is coming from as well. The reality is this. Tunanja and I, we've lived in Nigeria and we've also lived in the West. What Tunanja is saying, Nigerians are demanding so much and they're not willing to pay for it. There is nothing in America. Many of us, people in Nigeria, look at us in America and in UK and all these places and think we are just getting things for free. There is nothing free, nothing free in the West. You work for everything and you pay for everything. Now, in Nigeria, what I notice is this. Every time I even visit, I look at people, I say, what's going on here? It's like people want to consume. Nigerians consume, but they don't produce. And another thing is this. Even one time, I said, I have a company here in America, and sometimes I wish I can just transfer that company to Africa. Because the way the American government will frustrate you, man, when you start a business, they are fining you, they are regulating your business, they are not doing anything for you, but they will tax your business. It's like American government just tax you. American people pay tax. In UK, they tax you to death. And they don't, in return, what do? Yeah, of course, they'll do the infrastructure, but that's because we pay for it. And if you come to America, not everywhere is beautiful. Where people pay the most taxes is where they take care of. Even where people pay taxes, where they don't pay enough, they abandon their environment. The reality is, people pay for everything in the West. That's why everything is looking the way it looks. Now, in Nigeria, people always compare, and it frustrates me when I see Nigeria bashing Nigeria. And when you ask them, why are you bashing? They say, look at America, they have this, they have that. Nigeria, we don't have it. It's the government. And when I ask them, okay, everything here in America, who produced it? Every technology here, was it the government? It's the people's creativity. Even this internet we are using, it's not the government. Facebook is an individual. One young boy that went into his garage and designed something. Every technology we are enjoying, it's the people that do the things. It's not the government. Government have their role to play, but Nigerians, the mentality we have is that For our country to be, it requires the government. We're waiting for one savior. But you are the savior. You are the savior. Don't wait. Stop waiting for government. And many Nigerians in the West, oh my God, so many of them I've ran into, including one of my professors when I was studying engineering. This man has so much knowledge, and this man usually has worked for companies like he's on the top. I'm talking, he's a civil engineer, and he would sit down in the classroom and start making fun of Nigeria. They don't. When I went to visit, they don't have this. They don't even know how to design this. They don't know. I'm like, sir, why are you complaining? Go there, start something, train people, go and do it. You know, it's not the government's job. The only role of government is to protect life and properties and make regulations. It's the people. If you want something to change, when can an individual in Nigeria just start a science academy, start doing research, look for brilliant people among you, put them into research, go and research, learn how to make this thing we import to this country, learn how to do it, figure out science, get science books. Just, it's the people. They need to take their destiny to their own hands. Let's stop this government thing. Since I was born, it's the same thing. I heard my father saying the same thing with his friends. Oh, this government, this government. Oh, the government. Now it's the same thing. The government. People should understand that you have to change the way you're thinking in order for anything to change.
Mike,
you know?
Mike, hello, Mike. It says
Yes.
you live in America. Hello, Mike.
Yes.
You live in America. To Nigeria, you live in the United Kingdom.
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes.
Before you got there, their forefathers, their ancestors made everything very, very okay for their people. Now you come there, you start enjoying. How many times have they taken the electricity in the United States?
Guess what? Here where I live, I don't pay my electric bill. They will cut my lights. In America, they will cut my lights.
You are not being a good citizen of a country or a good.
Do you know how much I pay? Do you know how much I pay a month for electricity? $400.
Yeah, that is you are working. Thank God you are doing something. When you
I create my own job. I create my own company.
Look, government first. And we always say that government is the first. You make the environment. Look at who are the people building your race system. Is it not China? Don't we have engineers? What are you people saying, for God's sake?
So why are Nigerian engineers doing it?
You call Chinese people to come and build your race system. Why we have engineers? Why can't the government tax their engineers? I want you people to do this thing.
No, actually, Mr. Hanks, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You don't just call an engineer. Can I say something? I understand your point of view, Mr. Hanks, but like, you don't just call an engineer that have never done anything in regards to rail to just, oh, you studied rail, come and do this. Secondly, we've done that in the past. We've actually contracted some Nigerian like contractors to build roads, and at the end of the day, they just embezzle the money, and there's nothing to talk about it. That is one of the major problems. And look, I know. I just want to say something.
Hello, Source. When they were building Nightcom 2, this satellite they build, Chinese build it. We had some Nigerian engineers who build it with them. What have they done today? Nothing.
It is not about having Nigerian engineers working for a Chinese company. There are a lot of Nigerians working all over the world. Okay, but is there a Nigerian company in Nigeria that has a track record? Okay, this is like, for example, this is a construction company, okay, that is owned by a Nigerian that has a track record. Every single project they've done it, and they've done it up to code. We should not be like, oh my God, we should not allocate this to China. But China has a good track record. Most of the Chinese companies are building things not just in Nigeria, but all over the world.
Why do they have, Source, please listen to me. Why do they have track record? Their country trusted them. They gave them the contract to do. When you trust your own country,
look, do you know how many? It's not about trusting. Listen to me. It's not about trusting the people. It's about trusting a company. In business, sir. In business, you don't put sentiments when you do business. Okay, no. We've contracted Nigerian contractors before, and at the end of the day, they messed up. So right now, we actually.
Can you tell me why they messed up?
Look, that's because there's no competition. There will be like maybe one or two companies, and they are all taking all the contracts. Of course, they'll have the right to embezzle. They'll have the right to embezzle. But do you know how many construction companies are in China?
So we have not invested in our educational system. This
Whose
is the
fault is
problem
it?
with
Whose fault
Nigeria.
is it?
We don't
That's what I'm saying.
invest
Like,
in
look, that
education.
was my first point. That was my first point. I said we should have invested in education.
Look at
Look,
other
Mr.
people are
Hanks,
telling you about
Mr.
Africa.
Hanks,
How many African
Mr.
countries
Hanks,
love Nigerians? Tell me one.
Mr. Hanks, Mr. Hanks.
I want
The
Nigeria
argu-
to be developed because I know we have good heart to help other African countries. In a situation whereby we cannot develop our country, many African countries you are talking today, Ines is talking about Congo and other places. They have electricity. See, after 60 years, Nigeria don't have nothing.
Okay, I have a question for you. Has any Nigerian figured how to design a nuclear power plant?
Any Nigerian?
Yeah.
Because we have not invested in education, we don't know.
It's not about investing in education. Look, it's not about. It's not all about. Look, it boils down to ingenuity. So can I say something, please? Just can I make a statement, guys? Just let me just make just 1 minute, okay? It boils down to ingenuity, okay? This world is on the back of ingenuity. School is not going to teach you everything. School is only going to teach you how to work for somebody. That is it. Facebook was created from
Let me add to
scratch.
your point. Let me add to your point. The people that invent things in America here, the innovators, they didn't learn it in school.
Thank you.
It's not school that taught them how to do it. Most of them didn't even graduate from college.
The basic one, they have it. Today,
the reality is this: if you come to the West,
reality, look, sir,
if
like,
you come to
the
the
thing
West,
is
these Western countries that you guys are admiring, right? When you come and study everything, what you will find out is this: 80 to 90% of the jobs that people have, they're hired by private sectors. 80% of the economy, everything is being run by corporations, not government.
Yeah.
If you go to American government, go and apply for a job, they don't have job to give you.
They don't have
don't
jobs.
hire people. There's
But
no
all the
job.
jobs in Nigeria is only based on ministry. It's only like in Nigeria, the service industry only amounts
I've
is
never
just
worked for American
now
government
recently,
since I've
our
been to
service
America.
industry is like 30%. It's like that's because we lack ingenuity.
The
problem
we do have it. No, we have it, but it's the
have
mentality. The talent is in Nigeria. Everything is there. It's just the mentality of the people. Some people know how to do things, but they will not put the effort to do it.
Mike,
okay, so let's have one at a time. There is so much echo, we can't hear.
Okay. Guys, can you hear me?
There's so much echo. If all of us are talking at the same time, we can't hear each other. So one at a time. So
okay.
Who was talking?
Can I just speak first? Can I speak first?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay,
go on.
Look, it boils down, look, guys, it boils down to, as I said already, value creation. Value creation is not, look, going to school is only created to make someone good enough to work for somebody else.
Thank you.
That is it. Okay? Look, we have to create things from scratch. Like all these countries we are talking about, we say, oh my God, why are we employing a Chinese contractor? The Chinese contractors, they invented some things, the machineries they are using. Like you need to really study. There's a lot of construction there's a whole lot over like close to 100,000 like construction companies in China. They do construction pretty much all the time, and out of these companies, only like maybe like 10% of it is actually viable. That's actually receiving contracts. There is no competition. First of all, you have to create an idea. Okay, then look, for example, let's use for example the internet right now, which is quite simple. You know how many apps are out there? There are over 20 million applications. But you know how many apps are actually making money on this planet right now? Just like less than 10,000 apps out of 20 million apps. And all these apps are all ideas. Okay? So do you want to say, oh my God, the internet government is not making my company grow? There's nothing, because there's nobody to complain to. But we being a country, because we see a man on the top, we feel that person should give us everything. And that is not how it works.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. You have to, as a construction company in Nigeria, you have to have a track record. You have to invent something that is indigenous to Nigeria. You're like, okay, this bitumen is good for the African soil, maybe in the southern part of Nigeria or in the northern part of Nigeria. That is why you should choose us over this Chinese company. That is all.
The same thing you are talking about since is the same thing you are saying. Look, how will you know that you are good in something if you don't try yourself? We want everything outside is better than the one inside the country. Why can't you tax your people? Tax Nigerians. We want this rail built. How can we build it? Then we go and learn how to build it. They will build it for you. Why must we bring Chinese companies to come and build it for us?
The
And there are
question, look,
Nigerians
sir, the question is, sir, the question is not why must we bring Chinese company. Is why should we give it to a Nigerian company that doesn't have any track record? Look, I'm a
What do you
patriot.
mean by
Okay, I
track
love
record?
Nigeria.
No, it's not
What do
even
you mean
a
by
track record.
How
They
do
don't
you
even
get
they
the
don't even
track
do it. They
record when
don't
you
do
They
it
don't know
well.
how to do it. They didn't even look. If a Nigerian company, right, comes and say, okay, look, we have this technology that is indigenous. Like for example, now a lot of Nigerians will opt to buy innocent vehicle or not vehicles over imported cars from like United States, like Copart or whatever, or from Asian countries, because innocent will tell you that okay, this car is built for Nigerian roads and we have 3 years warranty. Now that is more attractive. Like, you know what? I think my next car, if I'm going to spend this amount of money, I want to buy a car that is not going to give me too much stress, and
How
I know
many
that it's very good for my road.
how
That
many
is how
of
it
your
works.
senators are buying Innocent today? Innocent would have employed over 1,000 workers. How many of your senators are buying Innocent today? Instead, they buy SUV from abroad. Is it
Hanks,
not what they are
Hanks,
doing? Why are
Hanks,
you people
Hanks,
talking about
But the Nigerian, I think the
using
Nigerian
Nigeria?
army
Hanks.
recently
Can I say
procured
something, please?
innocent vehicles for the army officials.
Hanks, can I say
We
something,
have to
please?
buy made in Nigerian product to at
Hanks,
least.
Hanks,
Yeah,
can
I'm
I say
listening to
something,
you,
please?
Naja.
Yeah, let me just say something quickly. I think the point you are making is quite relevant. I do get where Source is coming from. I think what Hanks is saying is that if you don't give your people a chance to build, how would they build their reputation then?
Thank you,
Because
my brother.
I think there is some merit to that argument, because the building you are giving them to do, let's say they screwed up the first time, but you give them again, they are going to get it right. You're not giving it to non-entities. There are people that
Yes,
have to be qualified.
exactly.
So, and because when you give them to build that stuff, they gain expertise, and then they start building more and more, and there is merit in that. I think there is merit in that argument, Source. So, but I get the argument too that the reason why the Nigerian government tend to do these things is often tend to tie to the debt associated or the cost of building the infrastructure, because sometimes the Chinese company will tell them, you know what, we'll just build this stuff for you, you don't have to pay us for the next 20 years or stuff like that. You see what I mean? So that is what plays into why the Nigerian government do some of all these things. But if they had the choice, I would say they go with what Hanks is saying. You give a Nigerian company the opportunity. After all, they're going to be employing Nigerians and paying
Yes,
Nigerians.
yes.
Those Nigerians have families.
Look
You
at
get what I mean?
North Korea today. North Korea, they are perfecting the nuclear weapon. They are perfecting every day. Do you see?
I agree with you on that one.
Manala, was that you that just spoke before the last guy?
People don't love Nigeria. A lot of African countries, they don't love Nigerians. We have seen everything that is happening. That's why I'm particular about Nigeria first. Because I know Nigerians have a good heart to help other people.
Someone's
Develop
voice
our
is echoing. If you are not speaking, please mute your microphone.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Let us do something for our people. It's not comparing Nigeria with America like your president is comparing Nigerians and Saudi Arabia. What have you put in place? We give ourselves electricity. We give ourselves running water and everything. Yet the environment look like where there is no governance. Nobody is controlling anything.
I want to
On their own.
I want to say one thing about a lot of Nigerians that live in the West and just that keep on going on the internet and going to Nigeria to kind of give a wrong perception of how things goes in the West. For example, during that COVID lockdown in Europe, I saw some Nigerians in Europe. They went to the ATM. I started flashing some money on camera and telling Nigerians that their government are useless. In Europe, they are giving us money. In America, they're giving us money during the lockdown. But what they failed to explain is that money they gave you was the money you paid them. You pay tax, thank you, about 4 times actually I was paid that money too. And before you qualify for that money, you must have paid tax at least 4 times that amount. So before they give you $1,000, maybe that year you must have paid at least 4,000. Even
those guys are people who just entered maybe wherever they entered. They told them that Nigeria is crazy. They want to kill them. You understand? So the first thing when they accept you, they pay you to at least to be able to be eating. You understand? To pay your rent and other things. Those are the type of people that you are seeing. I think they are from Germany also.
And another thing many Nigerians don't tell Nigerians back in Nigeria is this. most of them, when they go back to Nigeria, it's because they've already been here for so many years and they've got to a point where, okay, they've made a little bit, they've started making money, started progressing. But what they don't tell Nigeria is that once you step foot in Europe and America, you have to suffer for some years first. And the first job most people start to do is a job that they will never do in Nigeria. And one of those jobs, and if you can agree with me, the first job that our women do when they come here is they usually go to the hospital and go and clean old white people's shit.
I'm passionate about Nigeria, my country. This is my.
What I'm saying is this, but many Nigerians, when they go to Europe, the kind of job they do in Europe, like they sweep gutters, they will not tell. But in Nigeria, they won't start doing. They won't start from that position. But when they go to Europe, they are willing to start from that position.
I don't know people who live in Nigeria and other places. You talk of Africa. Look at what is new African country. I have lived in almost 20 African countries. I have lived there. They don't like you a bit. This is what is happening. This is why I'm passionate about where I come from. Because I know that once we get Nigeria right, we have mind to help other people. We've done it before. Look at, even Ghana is locking up Nigerian people's shops, saying that we are this, we are that. Of recent, they said that there are Nigerians who police chase. What? Look, I heard this man called Tony Elumelu. That man don't know the way he annoys me. When the fund you are supposed to give to your people, yeah, you are doing it for other African countries and they are looking at you like mumu. Huh? Develop your country first.
Can I come in there?
I'm telling you,
I agree with you.
You go to African countries, you come to Nigeria, everybody, you want some money, start up money. If you go to their country, they'll ask you for cash due, they'll ask you for moving around. You are in Nigeria, you did. Let's stop all this rubbish we are doing in Nigeria. We are bigger than
Mr. Hanks, can somebody come in there? Okay.
No, he
I understand, Mr. Hanks, I understand having to support your own people. Yeah, that is true. You have to support your own people. But tell me something. If you were to have appendicitis, would you have a surgeon with no training operate on you? So therefore, why would you want a government to give a contract for a road to a company just because it's Nigerian and it doesn't have a track record? I used to work in. Hold on. You've spoken a lot. Let other people speak, please. Yeah, it's all about tender. That's how business goes on. You do not go to hospital and have a surgeon with no experience come and experiment on you. That's why they use cadavers in medical school, for people to practice their cutting and their operation skills. That's what they do that. So if you're going to support a Nigerian company or any other African company to come and build buildings for you, okay, they have to have a track record because human lives are at risk. How many buildings have been built in Nigeria? How many estates have been fallen down? Thank you, Mr. Hanks. So at the end of the day, let's be sensible. Yes, do you want to support your people? Do I want to support my people? Yes. But would I have a construction company that has never constructed anything come and build on my land? You lie. That is not happening. Whether or not you are my brother, my cousin, or whatever, it's not happening unless I have track record of it. And generally, when people go and look for construction companies, you actually offer them to the most experienced construction companies, and they're called PPQs. Those are original proposals first. You let them cost it, price it out for you first to see what the best offer is. Then you check out their credentials. You also have to check out their bank accounts to see that if anything goes wrong with that building, yeah, and you have to sue them, they can actually pay you because they have enough insurance to cover you.
And insurance too, and insurance. Like there's a lot of things. It's not a just thanks, lady. Like you made a wonderful point. That's all I was just trying to say.
Let me land. I'm trying to speak to Mr. Hanks. Let me land. Let's be reasonable, okay? I want to support Africans in Africa. I don't mind. I want to come and transfer some of my business in England to Africa, to Nigeria particularly, and then after that take it to South Africa when it booms in Nigeria. I want to do that. Have I already invested in Nigeria? Yes, I have. I already bought land with my fiance, and it's agricultural land that can employ 2,000 people. So that's 2,000 people potentially out of unemployment. Okay. So when I'm talking, I'm not just talking hot air. I'm talking because I'm somebody who realizes that governments have never historically gotten their countries out of recession. It is always private enterprises. That's why they call them entrepreneurs. A man can be as rich as Mensa Musa and save the economy of his own country. Okay, Dangote is doing his bit, 925,000 potential jobs when he finishes that refinery. Okay, he's doing his bit. So what are you doing, Mr. Hanks, to help your people as you are complaining?
Yes, thank you for the question.
Hanks, let me take this one. Hanks,
I have also. Let me answer Flo. Let me answer Flo.
Let me take this one. I think you're not going to.
Let answer.
Hanks, wait.
We'll start planting our rice. You understand? I have also bought a land. I want to start my own business in Nigeria. It's rice company. You understand me? So I'm over 40 years. Flo. I have lived in Nigeria all my life. I just came to Europe. You understand me? So I'm not talking from layman point of view that all these things we are saying things that our environment is the problem we are having. The problem. We are not saying go and operate somebody. I said give them construction of road. Construction of road.
Mr. Hanks, Mr. Hanks,
okay, let's construction of rail. Okay, do you know, like there was a company in China, right, that actually constructed like a fast speed rail, and it ended up crashing, and then they destroyed that company.
Somebody's
government usually like.
I'm talking. We're not arguing. Okay, we are talking, Mr. Hanks. When I use the example, it's called an example, the analogy of a surgeon, who has no experience coming to operate on you. It was the same way you were offering when you were talking to 2Niger that we should actually submit contracts to Nigerian companies. But 2Niger was trying to make you understand that if that company does not have sufficient experience to build that particular project, then guess what happens? You're throwing good money after bad. And most people, when you circulate money, because I'm not going to use the word spend money, because spend means you're wasting it. When you circulate money, you expect profit to come back. Okay? That's why I don't use the term spend money. So when I use that surgeon analogy, it was just an example. So you are saying, give somebody a major contract to go and build something, but they have no track record. But human safety, what happen? Human safety counts for something. I'm not there to kill my people when I build something. When I want my factory built, I don't want somebody who's just experimenting at laying bricks.
Let me add one quick point, please. Let me add one quick point, please.
How many years will it take us to learn how to do things?
Hanks,
wait. Nigeria is 60 years.
Hanks, wait, let me just
make you know that Nigeria is 60 years. Are we going to live on this earth without seeing our country?
Hanks, wait, let me just make one quick point. I think the point she's made a valid point, so have you made a valid point. There are two aspects to this. I think we are all saying the same things, but Hanks is saying something else and Flo is saying something else. What I see here is that nations have certain priorities that they want to encourage. Like Sars once said something about enabling environment. Like when the US government invested in the NASA space travel to the moon and stuff like that, it wasn't profitable, but they did it because they are thinking about the ongoing gains they are going to make from technology, the superiority they are going to gain. So it's not everything you do because you want profit or you just want the whole thing to be done perfectly. So, from that point of view, when Flo says something about this in experience, I can understand that. But remember, everybody that runs a company once started the company from zero tasks, zero projects. So, the question is, companies are made up of people. The people that are in that company have to have had experience somewhere else. Then if they found their own company and they make a good proposal to say, okay, we want to do this for Nigeria, and it's good for Nigeria strategically to start learning how to build their own infrastructure. The government can then decide that, okay, we have a dream for this to happen. It's not always about profit. So let's put these funds to this company so that this company will do this. If the government wants to do that and they want to do that for that company, I think it is right for them to do that. But it's also right for an individual to say, I'm not here to support a company because I want to build a business that's going to make money and employ people. So it's also their right to go and choose a reliable company that they can count on with experience to do the job. So both sides are correct, but it's just that, there are different aspects that you are describing here. And you see, that's why it seems like there's a conflict.
Individuals, to Niger, individuals are trying in Nigeria. Individuals are trying. I'm telling you.
I don't agree.
If our government can do more, things will be okay. Our country will be developed. Our country will be okay. Not everybody coming out and telling me Nigeria is stressful. Nigeria is stressful because your environment is full of debt. Your environment is nothing to write home about. This is my anger about Nigeria, about our leaders. You understand me? This is my anger. Why can't we do things right?
Let me jump in real fast.
We are like people. How do they call it? We prefer to do outside. Like my brother Tony Elumelu, I don't even know whether it's from my state Delta. I don't know. You prefer to do for outside people so that you get name. If I see that man any day in Delta State, this is exactly what I'm going to tell him. I don't care. It's the stature of that man. I don't care. We prefer to do for other people. The same people killing us, sending us back. Very soon now they will start deporting Nigerians from Mali, from Senegal, all those places. Are you people not ashamed of this country?
Let me jump in real fast.
Okay, let's be rounding up the conversation. I'm happy that we are angry. Let this anger result in positive actions, the way it has started already in the country, that youth are now speaking up. So let's channel this anger productively as we try to round up. Hans?
Yeah.
Are you the one talking?
Yes, I was saying that we need to do things right. Let us just round up by saying that I love the way Nigerians are passionate about our country. If our leaders can be the same, that country will be the most beautiful. You understand me? Because I can't understand why somebody will go and live in a country of 74,000 people. You prepare 70. I'm talking about Desiani, who have stolen. A lot of them, they have stolen the Nigerians' wealth.
She's running.
Our money is in the hand of other people.
She's running. That's why.
Let's try. Thank you, Vechu, for this opportunity.
All right, you're welcome. Man alive, you've been up. Any words?
The same energy we use to defeat SARS. Let's use that energy to move Nigeria forward. That's all I have to say.
Right, that's it. Okay, to Niger.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. What I can say about this is that there is a lot that is happening in Nigeria that is positive, and we need to remember that there are a lot of people actually doing a lot of good work there. If they were not, Nigeria would not be functional at all. And the part that we just have to work is to try to realign the country to the way other countries run themselves. I know Nigerians have the energy, they have the drive, and they are unapologetically African. And when that spirit is fully unleashed, we will be able to do great things. We are already doing it in Nollywood. We are doing value added in Nollywood, and it's doing us a lot of good. Let's translate that to other parts of the industries in Nigeria, and things are going to change.
Yeah, right. Okay, Source God.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much, Virtue, for having me. It was a wonderful conversation. And yeah, like there's really nothing much to say anymore. Like we just have to, as Tuna just say, we just have to translate the energy we actually put into like our entertainment industry, Nollywood, and we just gotta like try to create the same value in every other aspect, and then we're good to go. And secondly, we don't have to play. We just don't have to be myopic. And I want to like talk to Hanks, okay, like in regards to the getting like Chinese companies. I know it's now it looks kind of bad, but you have to also understand that like the government have also placed like some sort of like um some I think systems in place where we have like is it transportation universities, and they've also sent like some bright students to like China, Korea, and other places to learn how, so that we can do like a technology transfer. So maybe in the next 10, 20 to like 30 years, we'll be having fully fledged like Nigerian construction companies constructing our own rails, roads, and other and what have you. So that's all I have
Yeah.
to say. And yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks, us God. And Flo. And Flo. Okay. She's not available now. Mike.
Me. Can you
Okay.
hear me? Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
want to say thank you very much for having me. And also, I want to encourage all the youth out there that if you have a dream, just go for it. You don't actually need money to start inventing things, contrary to popular beliefs. It's actually poverty that inspired a whole load of people, Albert Einstein being one of them. I could name you a whole load of scientists to gel wheat. Africa actually has botanists and scientists. They're generally called herbalists. And yeah, they have remedies that have been proven to work for thousands and thousands of years and have been translated and handed down to generations. So if anybody needs support and anybody opens a GoFundMe for a solid idea, I will be one of your main contributors. Just let Grace know, and I will click on the link. Take care.
All right. Thanks, and Flo. Mike.
Okay, Patrick Grace, thank you. Thank you for having me. So when I came on, I said use a I made a quote. I said, hey, in order to change your situation, you have to change the way you think. And an example is what just happened with these Nigerian youths when they finally changed the way they were thinking, because the whole SARS thing has been going on. Even in the 90s when I was growing up, they used to have Operation Sweep where they would come around and just shoot and do everything. And the way we used to, and the way when people say, why can we change things? Oh, let's pray. Let's just pray. One day the government will change. But today,
Yeah.
the youth realize, you know what? We have to change our method. We change our way of approaching things, and they made a change. Now, let me tell you a perfect where I learned it. Nigerians, we have to change the way we think. Is here in America, right? In America, it's a very segregated country. You have black neighborhoods and you have white neighborhoods. And I had the opportunity to live in both neighborhoods. And I lived in black neighborhoods for many years. And I had the same mentality of where we are so materialistic. So one time I bought when I started my business, when I graduated from college, I had a good job, I was getting paid good. So I bought a Mercedes-Benz E-Class. And the moment I drove to the black neighborhood, everybody was just hailing me. Like I became this star there, my Niger friends, everybody. Now I moved to a white neighborhood and I drove the same Mercedes. I pull up next to my white friends and they didn't see it as anything. And then I wonder, how come these white people don't care what I drive? And they were even showing more respect to a guy that was even driving nothing. And when I begin to interact with them and begin to see how they do things, I realized that the thing that they respect is not what you possess. It's actually what you're doing in your environment. So I noticed that when they talk about people and they show respect, I realize the people that really put in high regard are people that they have actually done something in the environment. And that's why I realized that in those white neighborhoods, every structure you see there is named after somebody. Every infrastructure, building, even hospitals, is named after somebody. And when people talk about people, they talk about those people as the great people. After a while, I began to understand, like, oh no, the way these people think is quite different from the way we think, we blacks. Even in Nigeria, I'm like, okay, why is it that the people who respect, when someone will show respect, it's a guy that has material things, which doesn't really apply to, doing anything for you. So I began to think, like, listen. Maybe if we start promoting who actually is doing what for the people, then who actually possess what, maybe our lives will begin to change. People will begin to understand, you know what, in order for me to earn respect, this is what I need to do. I need to go to my neighborhood and make a change. I visited Nigeria 2 years ago, in 2008, around December time. And one of my friends in America, I saw my friends, where we hang out here. I went to his village, his hometown, and that place was messed up. And I remember this guy told me he was from this village, right? This place. And this guy, I realized that this same guy, we used to hang out every weekend. And this guy would go to a club. He would buy $600 champagne and pour it on the floor. It would, like, this guy, I'm like, and this guy's from this environment, So our mentality is that we need to change the way we think. We need to start thinking in a way where, okay, the direction of the way we're thinking actually is going to make changes, going to actually produce things that we want. If we start respecting anyone that can produce something, anyone that can create something, anyone that can innovate something, anyone that can change something, the changes will start happening. But if we continue to think the way we are thinking individual, we have to respect is the guy that possesses all material things, and people that are responsible for changing everything, as someone in the government, you're not going to there won't be any changes. It's the same way we've been thinking forever and ever and ever and ever, but nothing has changed. We just have to figure out how do we need to start thinking in order to make our environment change. So it's all mentality. We need to start doing research. We need to start going to philosophy. People will need to start respecting in society are philosophers and historians. Philosophers and historians are people, basically, they study things that has happened in the past, how it was done, and how human mind works. And those are the people we need to put in our head to be telling us how to use our minds, how to use our brains, how to understand the concept, laws of life. Their works that can actually enforce change in anything we want. So, bottom line is, let's change what we are thinking if we want to change our situation. And that's it, man. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mike. This pretty much sums everything we've been talking about, from talking about our victory with the End SARS movement in Nigeria, which is just the beginning of a lot of the changes we want to see in the way that policing is done in our country, with a whole lot of the other political issues that our country is facing. I'm glad that this anger in our youth, in us youth, for Nigerians in diaspora, you also need to assist with this movement, sustain the momentum, mobilize yourselves as well, see what you can do, the technical expertise you can offer to move the country forward. We always say it's a collective fight, and we're so glad that the Nigerians in diaspora also joined in the End SARS movement. It was an international movement, not just in Nigeria alone. So thank you so much for that. We're going to sustain that energy in the country and channel it into other issues as well, so that we can demand for changes. Join the conversation on Twitter, join the conversation on YouTube, on Instagram, but most importantly on Twitter, because that's where a lot of them are, those our leaders. So tweet your ideas, tweet the things you want to see done in the police force, all of those things. Tag the Nigerian Police Force, tag President Buhari, tag the Inspector General of Police. Let's see the reforms that we want to see in our Nigerian Police Force. Once we are done with Nigerian Police Force, we take on another issue that is really very pressing. Quickly before I go, and these are some of the demands that the Nigerian youth are making of the Inspector General of Police. He said that SARS has been dissolved, has been disbanded, whatever the word he used for it. So these are our demands of him before I go. First of all, we want an immediate release of all arrested protesters. So all the protesters that were arrested during the End SARS protest, we want their immediate release. Secondly, we want justice for all deceased victims of police brutality and appropriate compensation for their families. 3, want the Nigerian police force to set up an independent body to oversee the investigation and prosecution of all reports of police misconduct within 10 days. 4, in line with the new Police Act, psychological evaluation and retraining to be confirmed by an independent body of all disbanded SARS officials before they can be redeployed. Remember that the Inspector General of Police said that SARS has been dissolved and the officers that were serving in that unit are going to be redeployed to other police units and formation. So we want a psychological evaluation done for them before they are redeployed to anywhere, any unit else. 5, we want an increase in police salary so that they are adequately compensated for protecting lives and property of citizens. So those are the 5 demands. One of the most urgent is we ask that President Buhari should issue an executive order that officially puts an end to SARS. So those are the demands that we've made of the Inspector General of Police for now. Once those demands are met, then we'll move on to the next day. And like some citizens, some youth have been suggesting, we need to form our own political party and start preparing, towards the 2023 elections. If it's about having our own independent party, independent candidate in our own youth party that we are going to mobilize resources for and vote for to lead this country. So that's the next conversation we are having. The energy is really high in the country and we want to utilize it now to achieve as much as we can, to see the change. Let's be the models that Africa, the rest of the African countries will look up to and gain inspiration to, start demanding good governance, justice, rule of law, accountability, and everything that democracy is supposed to offer. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for okay. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. And yes, I want to also sincerely say big thank you to our Nigerian celebrities for mobilizing us, for mobilizing this, political will from the youth, Genevieve Naji, P Square, Fast the Bad Guy, Mr. Macaroni, Runtown, Davido, Burna Boy, Tiwa Savage, Don Jazzy, everybody, the real Worry Pikin, all of you, thank you all. Tacha, Erica, all of you, thank you. Thank you all so much for mobilizing us. Let's Banky W, Lala Kindoju, all of you, thank you so much. Our actresses, our musicians, producers, all of you. Truly, you've lived up to your names and your titles as celebrities in these countries. In this country, for once, we are not calling you Yeye British again. We are calling you celebrities. You have lived up to that title. So thank you so much. Let's keep the energy, keep mobilizing us, lead us the next actions to take, and we'll move. Okay, thank you all so much. And for all of you that have tuned in today and joined the conversation in the chat room, on the panel, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. I'll see you again very soon. All right, good night. It's 11:32 p.m. Nigerian time, so I need to park. Right, good night.